This is the Big O Show. 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 This is
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business, car key replacements, and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Rock and roll. We are out here at the KSDT CPA offices in Dadeland. Of course, they've got 3 phenomenal offices. They've got one in Weston. They've got another one in West Palm Beach. They're growing and growing and growing and growing, baby. You can't stop them. You can hope to contain them, but you can't do that either. That's KSDT CPAs for you. There you go. And, of course, Sean Stanley by my side. Al Caballero is cracking the whip, making sure everything is kosher. You want me to go like this? Although, yeah, you've got my head cut off or something. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did it on purpose. My head's big enough as it is. I want to thank you for that, because now that makes my head look smaller than it really is. Yeah, you are helping for sure. There's no doubt about that. Although it could be I have a KSDTCPA.com hat on. It's kind of what it looks like, right? At this point. And yes, I've got my Book of Souls shirt on from Iron Maiden. See, today you actually 2 days in a row you get to see the shirt that we have on, which is a beautiful thing. There we go. And we got the big beautiful KSDT CPA logo right there. You can see that one right there. I love it. There we go. Nice job by Sean. Good morning to all. Man, we got a loaded show for you. Ira Winderman's going to call us in about 8 minutes at 10:10. He's going to be on a little earlier than normal because of Heat practice. And boy, do the Heat need practice. Holy crap. Man, things aren't going well with the Heat. They're at the Wizards tonight, and the Wizards are favored by 1. Now, I know it's because Tyler's out. I don't know if Bam is out today also, but, we'll find out with Ira what the hell is going on. It's physically impossible to make that head look small. That's true. I mean, true Fit fan, when you're right, bro. I mean, what am I going to tell you? You're lying? I mean, it's all right. I will admit when I'm wrong, and I will admit when someone is right. And you, sir, are right. There's no doubt about that. Dude, I'm pumped for this morning. Let's see what Mr. Big O has to say. Right. Well, Mr. Big O, huh? How about that? I've never been called Mr. I've always been called, hey, asshole. But, whatever. It's just one of those things. Anyway, so Panthers dropped one last night to the Stars. I got to say something here. Listen, Florida Panthers, if you're going to invite Tua Tagovailoa over to bang the drums for you and pump up the crowd, you don't allow 4 goals in the first period, dude. What is wrong with you people? I mean, you invite royalty in, the best quarterback in the NFL right now statistically. And this is how you welcome him? By giving up 4 goals and benching Bob? I saw all of that, and it couldn't have gone any worse, dude. It's like, what the hell happened last night? I'm like, holy crap, I'm there. Hey, Tua's there. That's cool. You got him banging the whatever that drum is called. And man, they laid one hell of an egg. They fought back. I'll give them credit. They lost 6-4, but once you gave up those 4 goals, that's that was it. But come on, man. You guys need to be clutch like Tua. Let's go. You got to do better than that. That was disappointing yesterday. You invite Tua, and then that's what ends up happening. That's just sad. So Heat, by the way, in action tonight against the Wizards, as we told you. Miami getting ready for Clemson tomorrow. We will be at walk-ons in Kendall, like we are for every Canes game. We got 2 left, Clemson and Pittsburgh. Tomorrow, our pregame coverage will start off at 1:30. Kickoff, of course, is at 3:30. We'll have Gabby Arrudia is going to join us. Probably have somebody from Clemson also joining us. So we'll have a couple of guests to get you ready for the game. And then obviously post-game, we'll carry Cristobal's press conference, and we'll get Manny Navarro from the locker rooms. So we'll get you ready for the game, and we'll see what kind of a performance the Canes can put together. It's hard to expect them to win this game. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. I mean, it's hard. They're what, a 19-point underdog? Yes. Over and under is 48. Miami is plus 750 on the money line. Clemson is minus 1,150. That means to win $100, you've got to bet 1,150 on Clemson. That's I don't know. That's kind of what they call insanity.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yes, I'm saying there's a chance. Exactly. There's a chance. Really, it's more about throwing away a couple of bucks on the Canes, because the odds are so good that, you bet 100, you win 750 if they actually win. And you never know. Crazy crap can happen in college football. Miami has no business beating Clemson, okay? I mean, just let me make sure I tell you that, okay? I would just want to tell you. But when we talk about betting, it's not smart to lay 1,150 to win 100. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, if you got the money to, just say, what the hell? I'd rather lay 100 on the Canes because I got a shot at winning 750 at least. That would be a lot better. 1,150 and you end up losing. By the way, Alarmo lost his shield. Sean lost our Alarmo shield. It's somewhere. We got to go get another shield for Alarmo today. But that's all right. Alarmo now is ready to fight. That's it.
Just like the Canes.
That's it. He doesn't need a shield. He's ready to kick your ass just like that. Right there. He's ready to defend, something that the Miami Heat don't do anymore. Oh, speaking of that, there's a guy named Ira Winderman. He's been covering the Miami Heat since day one. Well, we have something that we do twice a week here called the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Reports. Let's do that right now.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Good morning, sir. How are you?
First of all, just be thankful you are where you are, because it's a wind chill of 34. I dealt with the snow and the slush already in Toronto, and I can see why everyone from up here goes down there during the winter. Like, holy crap. It's like, I already texted my wife. I've ruined a pair of shoes in the slush. Order me another pair online. It is a different lifestyle come winter up here. So be thankful. Be very thankful. And that's why if you're in the market for an Acura, don't buy one up here in the Northeast. Go to a beautiful, warm location. You can walk the lot in the beautiful South Florida heat. Acura Pembroke Pines. Not that I do commercials.
No, you don't. But that was a good one right there. No snow, no slush, all sun right here at Acura Pembroke Pines. I love it. You're going to get a bright deal. So come on down. Take advantage. All right. The Miami Heat. First, yeah, I know it's rough. I mean, listen, the other night they were also without Bam too, which, it's just they're not that good.
Yes.
To be missing
No
margin
for error. You're exactly right, Big O. This team has zero margin of error. If Jimmy is out, if Bam is out, and sometimes even if Tyler is out, it's a very thin construct. It goes to what you've spoken about in our Acura Pembroke Pines reports for weeks about the luxury tax, about the hard cap, about trying to play it both ways. I'm not sure in today's NBA economy, sports economy, you can try to be prudent and also be successful. The Heat really are caught in the middle.
Yeah, no, they were, I think they made a couple mistakes here in how they constructed this roster. How are they health-wise for tonight's game against the Wizards? Because I look at the line and Vegas has got them favored. So I'm thinking, does Vegas know something that we don't? That Bam and Tyler out again, or what?
Tyler is out again. Didn't travel on the trip. Going to be at shoot-around in about an hour. Maybe I'll see him as a last-minute addition. I don't think so. I think that line is based on the fact that Bam Adebayo hates to miss games. And if he can do anything to get himself on the court, he will. And I also think it was really hard for him to watch that game in Toronto when they were out-rebounded by 19, outscored by 20 on second-chance points, all the thing he does. And again, he is such a dynamic defensive player that he changes everything. Dwayne Dedmon can barely move. He has that plantar fasciitis in his left foot. He never was the most mobile big man anyway. Then you have Omer Yurtseven, of course, who's out for at least 3 months, maybe the season. I love Nikola Jovic. And you know what, Big O? If this was a Heat rebuilding and development season, I would be all on board with all your listeners who would say, play Jovic more, get him out there. But you also have Kyle at 36, Jimmy at 33, trying to win now. Yeah. This team needs Bam. There's no plan B for this team. There's probably a better plan B without Kyle, a better plan B without Tyler, maybe even a better plan B without Jimmy Butler. But Lord knows, Jimmy Butler was a no-show in Toronto on Wednesday night as well.
Ira, I think I read, was it yesterday, the day before? Was it on the Stein line that apparently the Suns are getting closer to moving Jay Crowder? The Heat was mentioned as one of the teams that are interested in him, obviously. What do you know about this? Because Lord knows they need some kind of power help there. They've gotten, I mean, getting out-rebounded like they were the other night in the offensive boards. What was it the other night? The offensive boards were 16-4, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a 20-point difference in second chance points. But again, Big O, let's not overstate who Jay Crowder is. He's a 6'7" power forward. They
need anything. They need anything right now. Ira, the reason I ask is because I'm also realistic. I realize that the Heat don't really have a lot of options.
No,
they don't have a lot of capital to trade. They certainly don't have the capital to even go get a superstar at this point in time, the way they're tied down, but they do have at least some capital to get something to help you out to better your season. So that's the only reason why I ask. I know Jay Crowder is not the end all be all to all their needs, but he will help at least.
Okay, and here's the deal, Big O, one that's going around. And again, certainly your listeners can chime in on your chat board there after they slam the like button. It's Duncan Robinson and a Heat protected first-round pick to San Antonio, Josh Richardson to the Suns, Jay Crowder and Torrey Craig to the Heat. So here's the deal. This is what you and I have spoken about in our Acura Pembroke Pines reports, on our weekly RaidRecover.com Inside the Paint with Kurt Heel, and on Wednesdays is this. Are you desperate enough in this season to give up a future first-round pick for Jay Crowder? And the reason I bring this up, Big O, is not necessarily the value of that pick. Then you have no picks to package if a whale comes through, if something bigger is available. So you're basically sort of, cutting off your nose to spite your face just to win in the moment. It's really tenuous. Let's face it. You have a general manager, a team president in his late 70s in Pat Riley. You have, as I mentioned, Kyle Lowry, 36, Jimmy Butler, 33. Do you protect this window? Or, and I'm on the accurate Pembroke Pines report with the Big O in 2026, you go to me, Ira, what the hell were they thinking? Jay Crowder spent 5 months there. He left immediately for a bigger free agent contract. We burn this pick right now, a kid who's in elementary school right now, instead, and do you take the risk? It's as a matter of fact, Big O, you've done this for so many decades. The worst way for a general manager to operate is out of desperation.
Yeah.
When you operate out of desperation, you look back on all the deals you made that you shouldn't have because in the moment you weren't thinking lucidly about the bigger picture. I like Jay Crowder. If he gets a buyout, I'm the first one online to bring him to the beach, to get him a pair of flip-flops, to welcome him home. But I'm not sure I would go farther than that. The thing is, with this roster, they were counting heavily on Omer Yurtseven. In the Bahamas, Bam and Omer played a ton of time together in scrimmages. Eric Spoelstra experimented. Omer Yurtseven started the first preseason game with Bam Adebayo against Minnesota. Then he got hurt. Now the surgery, at least 3 months, it changes everything. Look, injuries are a bitch. The good teams find a way. Right now, I would say this. Every Heat player has to be like at an 8 out of 10 across the board for them to win. Like you said, the margin of error is scant.
Ooh, and it was the Bahamas. Can we blame Sam Bankman-Fried also for this?
Well, you know what? It's thankfully, I know those two didn't have investments. I know others did with this team. And what's interesting, instead of the athletes suing Sam trying to get their money back, fans are suing the athletes saying, you promoted Steph Curry, Tom Brady, some teams, you promoted this to us. You screwed it out of it. You lied. But you know what? That's like saying...
You do your own homework.
Yes,
That's your own...
Right.
And you know what? Listen, Ira, before FTX crashed, I told everybody on this platform, get your money out of FTX. Before Voyager crashed, I told everybody on this platform, I had money on Voyager. Get your money out of Voyager. I've been telling everybody for the last couple of months now, get your crypto out of the exchanges, put them in a cold storage wallet. So, you know what I mean? It's up to you to do your own homework.
Your due diligence.
Not that Tom Brady says, hey, I'm getting into crypto. You in? I mean, if is that what it takes you to get in without doing any of your own homework, then screw you, dude.
Right.
You lost your money on your own. You're an idiot.
Do you think these athletes are eating these burgers? Do you think Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, were eating McDonald's?
Driving a Buick. Right.
Yeah, or a Kia. Yeah. No offense. We love Kia also, but I'm just saying it's not Acura. But
you and I will drive a Kia, but Shaq ain't driving no
Acura. Drive an Acura, but that's another story. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to sue an athlete because of what he's doing, because of what he's saying, then it's really on you. You know what? Crypto and Miami Heat fandom are caveat emptor. You know what you're getting into.
Right. Yes, exactly. The problem is there's nothing wrong with crypto. It's just like an investment firm or a bank that does dirty work and they screw everybody. It's the same thing. That's what's going on. And that's where you have to decipher the two. But anyway, getting back to that Jay Crowder thing, and you brought up an interesting scenario, whether you go for it or you don't. But here's my problem, because here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Look, in the end, I wasn't a big fan of these older contracts. You know that. But now that you've dove into this whole thing with Lowry and with Butler, if you don't make any moves, you're basically saying, we did what we could with you guys, we're done. And now you've got to deal with the bitterness of Butler because you're not improving the team. And Lowry's got to know that his days are numbered, because at the end of this season, next year, his contract becomes an expiring contract, which then all of a sudden becomes all kinds of sexy. Sure. To the NBA, because people say, oh, that's an expiring deal. Yeah, we'll give you this guy that's got 3 years left and he's a good player or whatever. So now you've got some value along with your first rounders that you talked about. So then all of a sudden things can change for Miami next year if you're going to go in that direction. But if you're going to go in that direction, then you have told your fan base and you've told these older players, hey, we built what we got. You guys got to make the best of it. And you and I know right now the way that roster is constructed, that doesn't look like you're going to make a deep run.
No, and your first point I think is the larger point. If Jimmy and Kyle see it crashing around them, they're motivated. Look, we know when Jimmy's not happy what Jimmy looks like. We saw it with Fred Hoiberg in Chicago. We saw it in that practice in Minnesota. To a degree, we saw it in Philadelphia also. That can be ugly. Kyle, I'm wondering right now if Kyle made the cash grab and cashed out. Zach Lowe on ESPN basically put down their Heat's hopes based on all of this in his great 10 things he does on Friday, when he said, if Kyle can't recapture Kyle, it's almost a house of cards. That Kyle wants to do more, but Kyle's 36. Oh, you did more in your 20s and your 30s. I mean, we all get older and life changes and things change. Me waking up for the accurate Pembroke Pines report becomes difficult at times. I think Kyle might be at the point where he knows what to do. He knows what he wants to do, but the body's not willing anymore. And like you warned us, when you signed a guy at 35 for a 3-year, $85 million deal that takes him through his 38th birthday, you are running all the inherent risks. A guy like LeBron James ages beautifully. Tom Brady ages beautifully. Some other guys, not so much. I'm wondering if Kyle, who never had the Adonis body in the first place, it makes it even harder for him, just like you remember with Pat Riley and Tim Hardaway saying, hey, that body, when you get old, is going to break down. You're going to have a weight clause in your contract. You're weighing in every week. It wasn't punitive. It was to maximize. With Kyle, hell, it's a players' league now. That's just not happening.
Yeah, actually, Riley did two things to Hardaway, as you know. The one was the weight clause to keep it in shape, and then the other one was the responsibility on the court with the turnover to assist ratio. Remember, he would come into the locker room, give me a box score, give me a box score. He had to make sure, was it 2-1 or 2.5 to 1?
It was 3-1. It was brutal.
3-1. 3-1.
You know what? And I hated that for this reason. I hate that a guy might not have made a pass that could have led to a basket because there was a risk there. I think that he learned from that as well. But again, that was Pat Riley's accountability. And I don't want to sound like old man and get off my lawn.
Hardaway came with a little baggage, and so
he did. He wasn't starting at Golden State. Rick Adelman had benched him. But without sounding like an old man and get off my lawn, the times have changed. You just can't do that anymore. These are different times. You know what? If Pat Riley tried to put that in a contract, a player would bolt. If Pat Riley tells Kyle Lowry you can't take your golf clubs to the West Coast, Kyle Lowry wouldn't be as happy. If he tells Jimmy Butler you can't have your own place when you're on the road instead of staying with the team, it's a different time. That's what makes Eric Spoelstra more of the modern coach. You have to adjust to those times, just like Steve Kerr does with Steph Curry. Steph Curry doesn't stay at the team hotel. He knows there's too many fans, too many autographs. He meets his team at the gym. It's a different time. It's a different era.
Now, let me ask you something. In a quiet moment between Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy says, yo, but come on, man, you guys can't do more. And it says, well, hey, man, you wanted Lowry, right? So, you cash-strapped us with this. We have limitations. Your best friend did not come through for us last year. And right now we're cash-strapped with this, So in a way, I don't know how mad Butler can get when he's kind of put himself in the situation by bringing
and greatness still carries
ready to be a
responsibility.
Batman or a Robin, by the way.
Greatness carries responsibility. When the Miami Heat decided to let Mike Miller go because his limbs literally were falling off, LeBron James was very upset. If you remember, LeBron James brought Mike Miller in. The Heat had to trade Michael Beasley to Minnesota, create the space, bring Mike Miller in. But LeBron James still played great that season. They got to the NBA Finals. They lost in the Finals because the air conditioning shut off, but they still got there. They had the season. They won the Eastern Conference. They were conference champions. I think Jimmy would be the same way. But Big O, what I look at is what happened this week on Monday. Against the Phoenix Suns, Jimmy Butler could not have done an ounce more. He did everything for this team. He was all over the place. He made an unbelievable defensive stand at the end, and they won by 1 point. They barely won. And I think it's dawning on Jimmy Butler. I can't do that every night. I can't be that guy every moment. And I think you saw the toll of that on Wednesday in Toronto when he was barely there. Well, if Jimmy Butler's not going to be there a third of the time, and Kyle Lowry's not going to be there half the time, then maybe this whole fear of the play-in thing is not that far off because there were too many all-the-time teams in the East. Milwaukee's an all-the-time team. Boston's an all-the-time team. Cleveland is trying to become, through learning pains and growing pains, an all-the-time team. If the Heat wait too long when Harden gets back with the Sixers, and if Joel Embiid keeps playing this way, all of a sudden I'm talking to you from the road in the first round of the playoffs, or maybe even from the scene of a play-in game. Not out of the question.
All right, one more thing before I let you go. Sure. When the Lowry thing, you're in the locker room a hell of a lot more and in practice, and you get to see him more. You just talked about the modern player and how you got to treat him and all that. Did he did he take the Riley comments in the offseason the right way, or do you think that created a little bit more of a divide? Because when I look at Lowry, and I look at his everyday actions and on the court and the way he's handling things, I see a very business-like approach in a way, and I'm not talking about an intensity, an emotional intensity where you're into it, you're getting, I watch Tyreek Hill, okay? That's a free agent. He comes in, he's jacking guys up. He's happy other people are having success. He's part of stirring it up for others.
Ping pong table in, ping pong table out. Sure.
Yeah, I don't see that from Lowry.
You're correct.
Okay.
You're correct. And I think there are different points in their career. I think Kyle Lowry already has a championship. Kyle Lowry has he knows he's not getting another big contract. He knows he's not playing for his next deal. This is it. This is the last big deal of his career. So he's already secured that. He was motivated in the offseason, not by Pat Riley, by himself. He knew he had to be better. He hated being injured during the playoffs. He wanted to be out there. That might have been his shot. One Jimmy Butler three-pointer from making the NBA Finals again. That hurt him. He knew that. But he's never bought into Heat culture fully. Yeah. He's never drank the Kool-Aid. He's never going to be like Udonis Haslem. Sometimes, as you know, free agents come in as independent contractors. It's like the old thing when Kyle Lowry, if he goes to the Basketball Hall of Fame, they don't go into certain uniforms. You always ask baseball players, whose hat you going to have on your plaque there? Kyle Lowry's a Toronto Raptor, now and forever. This is just a stop. I wrote a column this week about that. How very few players have been able to find success after a lengthy career in one place. Peyton Manning found it. We spoke about this with Kurt Heelan when he went to Denver and won Super Bowl. Tom Brady found it.
He kind of got carried in that Super Bowl, by the way.
I know. But I'm still saying he got him there. He helped get him there.
He was fantastic leading up to that season is when his body finally broke down.
Tom Brady did it when he went to Tampa. We've seen Wayne Gretzky leave Edmonton, his once and forever home, to win in LA, to win in New York. Mark Messier in New York. Wade Boggs leave Boston and then wins a world championship with the Yankees. So it can happen. But I think Kyle is so defined by Toronto that nothing in this Miami Heat legacy can soil that anyway. He will always be an honorary citizen of Canada. He will go into the Hall of Fame surrounded by Toronto Raptors teammates. And that's what he is. You know what? He is, I hate to use this term, I don't mean it coldly, he's a mercenary. He arrived as a mercenary. You felt Goran Dragic wasn't good enough. Maybe in retrospect, we should think about that. You felt Goran wasn't good enough. You felt you haven't had a true
Goran played with intensity. You know, Goran was...
He still does in Chicago. You felt you hadn't had a true point guard since Tim Hardaway. We're going to bring you in. Eric Spoelstra calls him QB1. But he's a mercenary. He's not of the Heat. He's just part of the Heat.
All right, what do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel so Heat fans can check you out?
Well, it's interesting. The story I just posted at sunsentinel.com is Kyle Lowry. He's still saying give us time. We're still finding a way. We're still learning ourselves all as the clock keeps ticking. You know what? A lot of coaches say it. Monty Williams said it when he came in this week. At about 20 games, you know who you are. The Heat are 15 games in, a game under 500. They got a tough schedule coming up. They have Washington tomorrow. They have Cleveland going into Cleveland. Then next week, they have 2 games after they play Washington. They're going to Boston. So they've got to find a way to round it up. So I've got that. And I've got a very interesting column in Sunday Sun Sentinel about a player who 3 years ago was at Broward College, which doesn't even have a basketball program anymore, and now is playing for the Heat's G League team in Sioux Falls, maybe an injury away from making it to the NBA. So check out the Sun Sentinel on Sunday for that.
There you go. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. Be safe. Save those shoes because that's the only pair you got left. Yep. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his work at the Sun Sentinel. Thank you, Ira.
And I guess if the snow is yellow, I should avoid it. Thank you, Big O.
Yes. There you go, Ira. That's our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's just, to me, that's the one thing that when I look at Kyle Lowry, I really don't look at a guy that has actually embraced, the Heat and everything that's about them. You know what I mean? It's Just one of those deals where I just, I still see a picture of him. I just went to his Twitter just for the hell of it, and this is still something with the Raptors that's on top of his headline there. It doesn't say anything about Raptors on his, profile, but the picture that he has is something about him with the Raptors. But yeah, to me, it just looks very. He's just going through the motions. I don't see a guy that came here with a passion to with Jimmy to win a title. You know why? He's got his title already. He's there. He doesn't have the one thing that Jimmy needs left in his career. So you'll see Butler play his ass off and lay everything on the line. I can't say I see the same thing from Kyle Lowry, to be quite honest. What can I tell you? But I mean, that's just unfortunately that's the way it looks. By the way, redrecover.com, a proud sponsor of our program. And I don't want you living with pain, folks, and discomfort. And whether it's a tennis elbow, whether you're going jogging or playing pickleball, and maybe you got a knee surgery, or maybe you've got some knee injuries or anything along those lines, an old surgery, an old injury, or just working out and typical soreness, red light therapy is a great way to either maximize your workouts or to help you heal in the proper places, because the red light therapy does something that is all natural. There are no side effects. Obviously, no drugs are involved, and it is completely safe for you, for the kids, for even your dogs, too. We've got wraps for the dogs, for small dogs, for bigger dogs, because they have issues with their hips at times. And redrecover.com is just a beautiful thing. You got to check it out. Go to the website, check out the video blogs, check out the regular blogs out there. Hayden Hurst, by the way, NFL tight end, uses it. My man Sean uses it for one of his knees is bone on bone. As a Marine, he'd be jumping out of planes all the time. Well, that knee is kind of beaten up, and Red Recover alleviates the pain and the discomfort. It's not going to take it away when you're bone on bone, but it will alleviate it. It'll get the blood flow going, so that way your knee has a little bit more flexibility and you're able to feel it a lot better. You know what I'm saying? My wife does it for her shoulder. I do it for my shoulder. Go to redrecover.com. I wear the hat to grow the hair. I mean, the benefits are absolutely endless. They've got the pad that goes over the face for the ladies. They want to get rid of the crow's feet and all that kind of stuff. It helps out eliminating the wrinkles. You have a C-section when you go to pregnancy, and if you have a C-section and obviously there's a scar, you can use red light therapy on those scars to help those scars disappear. Go to redrecover.com. Use our code Big O. You will get 10% off at redrecover.com. All right. Two Extreme says, like I said before, Big O, Gabe Vincent over Lowry. He's younger and brings a bit more to the court than Lowry. The difference is contract value shouldn't determine it at this point. Well, there's a lot more to it, man. There's, also Jimmy Butler, and it gets to a point where if you put that guy in front of him, then you really kill the value of Lowry, and it becomes even harder to move him too for next year, because then it makes you look like a complete desperate team to dump him. I understand what you're saying, and you might be right. Maybe Gabe might be a better option at this point in time, but I don't think that they're going to go in that direction simply because they don't want to wreck the cart too much. Brooklyn Rob says, going to be a long winter down here in South Florida. Hope the Dolphins go far. Only thing I'm holding on to is the Panthers. Heat will disappoint. It's not that the Heat are look. Let's not go to an extreme. Okay, Riley's been here for 25 years, and he's given us just 25 beautiful years, man. You can't win the title every year. You can't win the conference every year, and you can't make a deep run every year in the playoffs. They've done a lot of that throughout, and we have to appreciate that. Hell, we're hoping that the Dolphins can start making runs and make it to the playoffs. We can hope that the Panthers, who just made the playoffs and got to the second round, can start doing it more often. Let's not take for granted what the Miami Heat organization has been. Okay, now they set a standard that, it's kind of like Canes football. Canes football set a standard for nearly 30 years, and now they can't even come close to that standard now, right? And so it's hard for you to get back there. And now Mario has to try to get that job done. You know what I'm saying? And the Heat right now are victims of their own success. It reminds me so much of Shula. Down the stretch, those of you that aren't old enough, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But let me tell you how it went the last 10 years with Shula. Oh, wow. Yeah, I know he won 10 games, but he only got to the first round of the playoffs. That we got to the point with the guy that would win all the time, won championships for you, got you to 5 Super Bowls. We got to a point with him that we set it aside like no big deal that he made the playoffs all the time. No. You got to go deep into the playoffs. No, just making the playoffs or winning 10 games, that's not enough, Shula. We need to get rid of you because we'll get somebody better. How'd that work out? You know what I'm saying? So we've got to also appreciate what the Heat are. They're a phenomenal organization. They've been a phenomenal organization. Are they going to be phenomenal this year? Probably not. Are they probably going to make the playoffs? Yeah. And that's on a bad year. And that's what you've got to also look at and say, all right, they may not be a championship caliber team, but it's a first-class organization that always does their best to put out there a great product. Meanwhile, go look at the Marlins. You know what I mean? So you got to appreciate certain things. So let's not also kill the Heat. You know what I mean? We can be critical and talk about, okay, they're not that good this year, but let's not make them sound like the Marlins. Okay? All right? Let's not make them sound like any team in town because they are unlike any team in town over the last 25 years. They've been the standard in this town that nobody's even come close to. So, unfortunately, not going to be the kind of year that we're spoiled with, but I still think we'll get some decent basketball and we'll get a playoff team. No doubt that the Panthers should be the team that makes a deeper run in the playoffs. With Kachuk but now it's up to Paul Maurice. He's got to get that done now. He's got to prove that his style, he can change that team from the open out style that they had to a more defensive style and still be able to win in all those tighter games now. And that's going to be the challenge for him. But they have the talent. That's the one thing about the Panthers. They have the talent. But appreciate the Heat, man. Appreciate the Heat. Even if it's not a great year that we've been spoiled with in the past. The Heat got old, man. It happens to every team. This is not the first season the Heat are not good. It's not like a 5-year cycle, and that cycle was exasperated by what happened to Bosch. Yeah. Yep. You have Heat fans. You Heat fans have it good. Us Knick fans have been dealing with a joke of an organization 20 years. Yeah. I think it's been over 20, but yeah, you're right. It's bad, man. It's kind of like watching, the Marlins. Been thinking too. Is or has the KD thing a distraction? No. It's not. It's not a distraction. Now, if you have geared your team around the hopes of acquiring him, and you keep altering your plans just for him, and you're not acquiring him, then it's not a distraction. It's a terrible plan. Okay? Because obviously you're not acquiring him. And you've also got to get realistic here. You don't have the resources. Many other teams are going to have way better resources to trade for KD. And I think the next go around that, if there's a divorce, I don't necessarily think he's going to be able to control where he goes because he's already under contract for several years. He's going to have to play for whoever he goes to. And if you're the Nets, you're not going to settle for whatever team he wants. And then that takes the leverage away from you. Now that you have the Kyrie mess and the Ben Simmons mess and the Harden and all that, and this is your last chip that you've got to really trade, you're going to trade it for picks. You're going to trade it for whoever gives you the most for Kevin Durant. And Miami cannot do that. So if you altered your plans just for Kevin Durant, and a schmuck like me knows it's unrealistic for you to even get him, then yeah, you have really done your franchise a disservice. which I don't think that that's the case with the Miami Heat. I like the look of the rookie Jovic. Could turn into a real player. Yeah, but he's just young now. You can't ask that much from a baby like Jovic. It's not fair, man. It just isn't. By the way, if you're going to go enjoy some college football on Saturday or Sunday, you can head over to one of the 7 great locations at Sports Grill. $1.50 Bud Light drafts and bottles during NCAA and NFL games. They've got these new cocktails at $5, cherry lemonade and tailgate tea, $12 domestic pitchers. Bone-in wings now are 15% off. They added the buttermilk chicken sandwich to the menu, and that thing is absolutely delicious. And Sports Grill is known for their sauces, right? So guess what? Now you can take those sauces home. I've seen Sean take those sauces home, and he's like, everything he cooks, he's just dousing it. A little buffalo sauce, a little Miami Heat sauce, a little blackberry barbecue, the Dale. They got the Dale sauce. You got to check that out. Mondays, a $7 single smash burger. Tuesdays, the $2 tacos, chicken, beef, or fish. Wednesdays, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult entree. 7 great locations. The 8th location in Doral is coming. We will tell you when it arrives. Sports Grill, baby. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the fun. Enjoy the food. All right. What else do we have? QBs are getting paid after year 3 now, so I don't think there's any way Tua's agent lets him go into year 4 without an extension. Giving him an extension opens up cap space for next year. Nope, it does not. When you give him a new contract, my friend, it doesn't start till the 5th year. And what I would do with them, what I would do with Tua is I would probably negotiate it after year 3 going into year 4. That's when I would do it because I can still tag him for year 5, but I would buy myself one more year of trying to make a Super Bowl run because that's what this is right here. It's what I've told you guys already for several weeks now. Brian Flores screwed everything up here because he could not build an offense for 2 years around Tua. You could never find out about the quarterback. So now you've wasted 2 years of his 4-year contract, 5 years with the extra year, right? So now you've wasted 2 years. They don't have any more time. That's why they made all these moves. Because they said, we got to find out now. We got to try to make a run now. And sure enough, everything's working out for them. But what do you want to do? Are you sure you're going to win it this year? Probably not. You're not sure, right? So next year, if you don't win it this year, is my point, you're going to try to do it again next year. And you're going to try to do it with the current cap space that you have. Remember, this offseason, you have to pay Wilkins and you have to pay Sealer. Guaranteed you have to pay those guys. The following year, then comes Waddle, then comes Tua, then comes, Javon Holland. That's a lot of money that's going to be dished out. Robert Hunt gets a contract after this year. He's the same draft class as Tua. Raekwon Davis, same draft class as Tua. Brandon Jones, same draft class as Tua. Get ready, folks. You have a new thing happening with the Miami Dolphins now. You hit it on draft. You're hitting on draft picks. And now you hit on so many draft picks, you won't be able to keep everybody. Welcome to the new Miami Dolphins. They're going to get compensatory picks for some of the guys that they can't sign because you cannot sign everybody. Sacrifices will have to be made. So you're going to lose people along the way. It's a different world. So don't think it's just Tua. There's a lot more that they've got to sign too, because the guys that come after the first round, they don't have that 5th year. You have to sign them out before their 4th year. Javon Holland's one of those. Robert Hunt's one of those. Brandon Jones, one of those. Andrew Van Ginkel's one of those. Raekwon Davis is one of those. Those are all non-first rounders that you've hit on. And their contracts are coming up. You're going to have to find a way to sign all of these guys. Liam Eichenberg's not a concern because he hasn't done enough. Austin Jackson's not a concern because he hasn't done enough. So whenever their contracts come up, those salary demands aren't going to be big. All the other guys I talked about, they're all impact players. You're going to have to re-sign them. You're not going to be able to re-sign all of them. So be prepared. But the good thing is they've proven to you they can draft. They've proven to you they can find guys off the street like Trill Williams, like Nick Needham, like Cater Kohu, right? So they can find a Zach Sealer off the street. So they can find a Brandon Shell off the street, a Robert Jones off the street. They can make trades like they did with Wilson, like they did with Chubb. So they know how to unearth talent, whether they're undrafted free agents, whether they're regular street free agents, whether they're trades or just flat out draft picks. That's so important. It's a cycle. It's a beautiful cycle because now you'll start getting compensatory picks on top of your regular draft picks. So now that's going to give you more ammunition year in and year out if you're successful in the draft. You will continue to load your team, and then you continue to reload your team through the draft. And the beauty is you now have found out, oh, wait a minute, these guys can draft Tua, and then 2 years later draft Skylar Thompson, their backup quarterback. Oh, these guys know how to draft. All right. Yeah, we got the right guys. And that's a beautiful thing. How many franchises draft your franchise quarterback and 2 years later draft a capable backup in Skyler? And because of that, you can cut Teddy Bridgewater, who's, his contract's up at the end of the year anyways, but it frees up $6.5 million. And that $500,000 out of that $6 is still more than what you're paying Skyler. You're only going to pay him a couple $100,000 next year to be, you're going to, for 4 years, you're going to pay him 7th round money. That's how you manage the cap. You get guys cheap. You get Nick Needham cheap for a few years before you have to pay him. Super important to be able to do that. You have Brandon Jones on a 3rd rounder. You're paying him 3rd round money for 4 years before you have to pay him starters money. That's how you win in this league. So be prepared. The cycle's coming. Don't get pissed. I warned you. You're not going to be able to sign everybody. But the beauty is that the more will come. They will find more talent. And as long as you're able to do that, I just showed you the graph yesterday. Miami is one of the most injured teams in the NFL. They are the 6th most injured team in the NFL. And they are one of the better teams in the NFL. Why do you do that? Because the back end of your roster is actually helping you out, i.e. Brandon Shell, i.e. Robert Jones. Those kind of guys are stepping up. Cater Kohu, a Division II player. This is not a guy from a Power 5 conference. This is a guy from Division freaking 2. And they identified him and said, that guy's an NFL player. That's how you evaluate talent. All right, 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line, that's 855-912-1056 on the Welt and Rayom text line. And don't forget, our friends at Welt and Rayom in Hollywood, I saw it firsthand. They brought Progressive to their knees, all right? And they were offering us, like, I think I told you, like 1/5 of what we ended up getting. And so, if you have any damage to your home, to anything, you call them before you call any adjuster. They have their own adjusters. So they know exactly how to assess any kind of damage that you have to your home, any kind of damage you have when it comes to car, family, anything that goes on. Make sure you call them first at 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Call my guys, Dan and Jeff at Welt and Rayom, 954-966-4646. Big O, do you think some of those platters will be happy enough, or platters? Players, that's what he means. Okay, will be happy enough here to sign with a team-friendly deal, close, and enjoy playing with Mike? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, it's going to be veteran players that are at the back end of their career that can still help you out and sign one-year deals. Yes. Yeah, but we've got to get through the cycle of proving that you're one of the best franchises in the league. So that'll happen this year. If you actually get to the playoffs and make a deep run, you're going to have guys lined up that are going to say, no, I can help you out for a year. I want to get a title. Oh, and you have no state tax? Sign me up. That's the other thing. The state tax always helped out when the Dolphins sucked because players would sign contracts here to come just hang out, right? And Domicon sued didn't. I remember when they asked him why he signed here, and I ripped that signing. I knew that signing wasn't going to do jack shit for the Dolphins because he's not, he's not Aaron Donald or Warren Sapp, or he's not a sack guy from that position. And you don't pay that guy, that player, that kind of money unless you're a sack guy from that position, because you were paying him defensive end money, which was stupid. And then when they asked him, why did you sign here? What did you like about they're a forward-thinking franchise. I laughed at that right away. I made fun of it for a couple days on radio because who the hell signs for forward-thinking franchises? Brother, I sign here because I want to win. That's what I want to hear. I came here because I want to play with Tua. I want to play with Mike McDaniel. I want to try to win. I came here because I want to play with Dan Marino. That's what I want to hear. I came here because I want to play with LeBron and Wade and Bosch. I came here because I want to play with Zoe and Timmy and, the kind of stuff that makes sense. Forward-thinking franchise. He couldn't say winning because back in those days, you didn't sign with the Miami Dolphins thinking about winning. Those free agents signed here because Miami was the team that was offering the most money, tax-free state. So what am I going to do? Best way to set up my family. Who cares if I don't win? And if winning wasn't important to you, you would come to the Miami Dolphins. Now, you hope it's the other way around. Now they're sacrificing to sign with the Miami Dolphins. And that's what I hope. That's the cycle I hope starts next year. Leon Fresco, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, missed show. What are we doing for the World Cup? We're watching it. I don't know what you want me to tell you. They don't play till Friday, right? England? There you go. I want to say it's I want to say Friday, England, 2 p.m. I want to say. Yeah. So we will have people that cover the World Cup, but I'm not going to talk about it now. Let's wait. By the way, the World Cup why are we holding the World Cup in a crap place like Qatar? Monday? Wales? Oh, they do. Okay, so they do. Oh, England is Friday. Okay, so I just went over the Wales. Oh, okay. All right. But did you see what Qatar just did? Disgusting. I mean, it's gross what Qatar did. They eliminated beer sales. 2 days before the World Cup's about to open, they said, nah, no beer sales. Did FIFA have to just sell out like that for money? You know how many people are going to get arrested in Qatar? You know how many tourists are going to get arrested in Qatar? A bunch. Why would we want to do and hold an event there when those people don't treat human beings the right way? Just a pure sellout for money, man. Pretty gross on behalf of FIFA. I'm having fun with the beer thing, but let's be honest. There's a lot of other things going on in that place. And wow. And to do that, and what if there are sponsors that paid to have their beer there and be a sponsor of the World Cup and FIFA? And these tight asses say, nah, no alcohol. What was it the other day? Somebody got in trouble because they were wearing some kind of a T-shirt or something that did not represent something that they don't like in that country or something. I forgot what it was, but it was in the news. And it's ridiculous why we would actually even hold that event there. But again, when it comes to the IOC and FIFA, they have no scruples whatsoever. The IOC and FIFA are just there for handouts. That's all it is. They don't care that they go to these terrible countries where they use people to the bone to build these stadiums, spend all this money, and then they walk away and those stadiums are never used again. Because most of these countries don't need all those stadiums. It's just an absolute waste. Instead of doing it in countries that are already set up for it. And they don't have to build stadiums. You don't have to build them in London, in England, that is. You don't have to build them in France. You don't have to build them in the United States. It's crazy that they do that. What are you saying? What are you looking at?
I was just looking up to see if there was any. Budweiser is a sponsor.
Right.
And so they're selling the non-alcoholic Budweiser in the stadiums is what they're selling. It's just crazy to read it. And apparently they tweeted out and then deleted Budweiser yesterday. Well, this is awkward. But then they deleted the tweet.
Yeah, they had. Yeah, exactly. FIFA. Right. Because FIFA then says, hey, listen, I get you're pissed. Do you want to be a part of anything else we're going to do in the future? Because we'll happily go call Michelob. Right. Like, it totally sucks. That's just, like, really. And not that I want to, I'm dying. I'm not even a big drinker, dude. I may have a couple drinks in a year. So I don't really care about that. But you know how many people enjoy having a brew at an event or two? Come on, man. Tight asses over there in Qatar. Give me a break. Leon Fresco says, thank you for the love on the super chat, by the way. Maybe get Neville for Monday and Friday pregame. We'll go call Neville. Yeah. Yeah, that PR department is they're a sizzling PR department over there. Budweiser had a multi-million-dollar contract with FIFA to sell beer at the World Cup. Qatar banning beer puts FIFA in breach of contract. Yeah, but the problem is FIFA has more power than Budweiser. That's the thing. It's like, hey, yeah, we'll make it up for you in the next World Cup or something, Do you want to be in the next World Cup? And Budweiser, yeah, we'll be fine, And that's the problem. It's almost like it's like you got to take the hit and then to keep the relationship going, because if not, there'll be 8 other people in line to take your spot. There we go. So, that's the thing. You've got to play the game if you're Budweiser, but it's gotta suck, dude. Gotta suck. Best fans, roll up a fatty or you'll get arrested for that. For sure. For sure. Qatar, they smell some weed. Come on, dude. You're going to be sitting next to Brittany Griner. They what? They live in containers?
Did you see the containers they set up for the World Cup?
No.
No, I got to get the picture of that. They actually have containers that they put walls on, and that's what
shipping containers.
That's what it looks like. Hold on, let me find a picture.
You couldn't pay me enough to tell me hey, you want to go to Qatar for the World Cup? Get the hell out of here, dude. Are you out of your mind? I saw it, and it's just, sad. Next World Cup is in the U.S. Budweiser will swallow their pride. That's right. It is in the U.S. I forgot about that, Brooklyn Rob. Nice job by you. Yeah, non-alcoholic is an oxymoron, says man of 1,005 holds. Oh, yeah. A total of 30,000 rooms have been erected in the desert for the influx of fans. While appearances may be deceiving, they look a whole lot like shipping containers. Wow.
And I don't know if that's the story. That's the original one. But when you go in, it's like a bed.
Yeah, two
mini fridge,
twin beds.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I believe the VIPs. That's
right.
like the packages they sold.
Can't wait for the World Cup to come here instead. Women probably can't even dress in a hot fashion. You know what I mean? Because Brazil, That's must-watch television every time. That's like when you're channel surfing through Telemundo and Univision, and you stop and there's a soap opera, una telenovela, and you're like, whoa, wow, that's a looker, that kind of stuff. The Brazil soccer game is exactly that. Have you ever noticed how you can watch all the other countries and then they'll have crowd shots? But when it comes to the Brazil game, the crowd shots are amazing. They just continue to show the crowd because the crowd is beautiful, bro. Okay, there's just something about it. The crowd looks like Hijinks Sports Grill. Okay, that's if you want to get a feeling of being at a Brazil soccer match, go to Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca. Okay, hottest sports bar in South Florida. That would be the perfect place to see the Brazil game. Any Brazil game, go to Hijinks because you're on television watching babes, and then all over the bar is watching babes. And if you don't believe me, go to their Instagram page and you're welcome. That's all. They're either current or former Dolphin cheerleaders. Like I said, you're welcome.
Can you do all the chants that they do in soccer?
Oh, I don't know.
Qatar, like, is that all allowed?
I don't know.
Stuff?
I don't know
because there's no public affection.
The old Orlando City chants would not work in Qatar. You'll get arrested.
I can do the
Orlando
wave,
City fans know what the hell I'm talking about. But
do the wave, I guess.
Like all of you probably missed out on that joke because they have some chants that were very creative. Let me just say, the Orlando City folks back in the day. That's how they ended up getting their MLS team because they were so supportive of their USL team, and it was an impressive thing. And that's how that fan base just grew and grew and grew. And now, obviously, with their MLS team, and they give them great support. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's get ready for hour number 2, and we'll get ready for Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks. eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All righty, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Manny Navarro. How you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good, man. Getting ready to board my flight here for Atlanta. And actually, is that main cabin one? I think that's me. Yeah. I'm sorry. I may have to shut down for a quick second just so I can get through and show them my ticket.
Okay, no, not a problem, bro. If you got it, what are you, security right now? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm literally going right through security as we start here. So,
all right, show them the phone.
You can ask me a question.
But show them the phone and tell them that I'll guarantee them you're not carrying any guns or bombs or weapons. Come on, go ahead. Let's do that. Not a good idea?
All right, 1 second. Yeah. Hold on. Hey, you there? I'm back.
He wasn't lying. He wasn't lying when he had to go dark. There he is.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah. So how's it going, brother?
That's it. So you just put the phone through security right now? Is that what it was?
Yeah, man. You just show them your ticket and it's all good. You get right there.
There you go. There you go. See, we've never even been through security in the middle of an interview. Now we are. We've arrived.
Now you have.
Are you flying out of Miami or are you flying out of Fort Lauderdale?
Well, I live in Broward, so I fly out of Fort Lauderdale now. Plus,
that's right.
It's a little bit of an easier airport to deal with too.
Yes, it is. It is slightly easier. You are correct, sir. So your thoughts on Mr. Mario Cristobal, and basically you got that video for me. For those of you that haven't seen it, Mario Cristobal had a message for those parents out there that are bitching and complaining and talking about how the coaching is maybe a little too tough for the kids. So Mario Cristobal had a message for those parents. Sean is bringing up that video now. We'll play it for you. Here we go. Let's see. Go ahead. All right. There we go. Fire away.
As it relates to posting on social media, that was really very different than anything that would relate to anything but a parent is very want to come pick up their son and they're not happy with playing time at the University of Miami. I guess that's my philosophy. I I think it's important to teach our own children.
All right. So your thoughts on
adults.
your thoughts on Mario's message to the parents on who are not happy with their son's playing time.
Refreshing. I think that that's one thing that you look at the last couple of seasons at Miami, right? I think there's a whole sense of entitlement with a lot of players that they think, well, I got a scholarship here. The coach is supposed to play me. And I think Mario's pretty much sent the message since he's taken over that if you're going to play here, it's because you earned the playing time. And, the perfect example of that last weekend was Jalen Knighton. He fumbled a bunch of times early in the season, sat on the bench, had a walk-on getting snaps in front of him, earned his place back, and he played well. And I think, sometimes you have to go through that process. And unfortunately, I think the recruiting rankings and all of those kind of things have helped a lot of these kids develop egos that they probably don't deserve. And I think, parents as well, they think that their kid is superstar. And it's like, what have you done, baby? What have you done? You did something in high school. Everybody did something to get here, right? To play at the FBS level. Now you got to do something better. And I think he's just trying to set the tone with that message.
Mario, I think, also mentioned that with the Rooster that he said he also didn't pout. And,
right.
Since we're talking about all this stuff, that also stuck to my mind when he said about the Rooster that, after all those struggles, he didn't go and pout or whatever. He went back to work, and I'm proud of him because of the way he played and all that. So Mario was happy that the kid handled the tough love the right way.
Yeah, and I think ultimately that's what he wants to see out of everybody. And unfortunately, it's a different era, right? High school football and the proliferation of the star rankings and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, a lot of these kids develop egos, and so do their parents. Their parents think, well, my kid chose your school, you should be playing them. And it's like, no, your kid has to develop, and I'm trying to do that. And you're not helping me by voicing your displeasure on social media and showing other parents that you're not happy. And so it's a give and take. I'm glad that he did it. I think there's a lot of people around the country that are probably making fun of Mario, saying, look at the disaster, you're 5-5 this season, but he's taking the necessary steps. This is the kind of stuff you have to do if you're going to change the culture of your program.
I agree. I have no problem with what Mario did. I'm old school myself. So if you can't be pushed, then you're probably in the wrong program at this point in time. So I don't have a problem. And listen, you know what this does? This opens it up for him to be able to get more positions open and go out there and use the transfer portal and recruiting and build up what he wants with the kind of players he wants. So this actually fast tracks it a little better.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's I said this to you a couple of weeks ago that when you sign a 10-year contract, you can take a different approach, right? And I think Mario knew coming in here that this wasn't going to be a good team necessarily, right? He knew that, hey, they were 7-5 last year. I'm not excusing the losses to Middle Tennessee State and Duke, but I am saying maybe he took the right approach of let's see who's really built for this program.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right, so what's your gut tell you about? Oh, he's in the plane now. Yeah. All right.
I'm gonna have to put my bag up at some point too, so I'll let you know when that happens.
As long as you don't have to put the phone inside the damn thing, because then we can't see you.
No.
What's your gut tell you on who starts? Because to me, it only makes sense really to put Jakari. I wouldn't put a Van Dyke until he's close to 100%. I wouldn't want to risk anything for that young man. He deserves better.
Well, and I would say just with the offensive line that you have, he's not an elusive quarterback. You can't put him back there and let him take a bunch of shots against this Clemson defensive line. I mean, the next 2 weeks, if I'm Tyler Van Dyke, I don't want to play. I'm not wanting to suit up and play these next two opponents just because my body's been beat up and I'm not 100%. And this isn't the kind of film you want to put out there. And I think it's pretty well established, I think, at this point, that, he's not going to be going to the NFL after this season. And if he does, he's not going to be drafted very high. I think a lot of scouts wanted to see more from him, and it didn't happen for him this year.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. So with Jakari, I almost feel like this might be your better option because the guy can move around. And the one thing that Jakari has done is he's getting better too in the process. See, where Jake would piss me off was I would see the same things, the same mistakes week in and week out whenever he played. there wasn't any kind of improvement. With Jakari, every time you see him, he starts to look more and more comfortable in that spot.
We like to ask if you're putting on board and have 2 bags, please place that.
Yeah, I think all those reasons you have to start Jakari Brown in this game. I think, decision making alone against Georgia Tech, when he decided, when to hand the ball off, when to throw it, all of those were important reasons, like, to me, that showed a guy who was in control of this team, control of this offense. So I want to see more of that the rest of the way. I think Jake has lost his confidence a little bit from the turnovers. And to me, I think there's only one guy to start in this game, Jakari Brown. And hopefully he's standing up at the end of it, because this Clemson defense is pretty good. They got a lot to play for.
No, of course, definitely. How do they win this game, Manny?
Turnovers. They got to do what they did to Georgia Tech. They got to force 3 or 4 turnovers and play error-free, get the extra possessions, because, Clemson's got all the motivation in the world to win this game. And I think – hold on one second. Hey, how are you? All right. Hold on 1 second. I got to put my bag up.
Go ahead, man. No problem. Put that bag up.
All right. 1 second.
See, this is an interview. See,
this is real life right here, baby.
Raw right here, baby. on the job, headed to the job,
headed to the game. Yeah,
all of it right there, baby.
My apologies, but I appreciate the patience.
Man, nothing to apologize. Are you an aisle or window guy?
Usually I'm a window guy, but this is one of those heavily booked flights, so sometimes I'll take the aisle in that case. I can go either or, to be honest, but usually given a choice, I will take the window. I like looking out during the flight.
Yeah, me too. I'm a window guy myself too. Sean is the aisle guy, so I always have to get him the aisle seat and get myself the window seat. Although it is, I gotta say, window seat when you're deep into the plane, oh man, that is tough because you are waiting forever to get the hell out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm in row 32, and the exit's about 15 rows away, so I'm doing okay. I should be able to get out without too much of a wait. We'll see.
Ooh, and from what I noticed, you put your bag away before your seat, so you're gonna get your bag on the way out. Is that what you did?
Yeah, I never check my luggage, man. As a journalist, you never have time for that. If you got a delay, you got a breaking news story, you need your computer nearby, you need your bag nearby in case you got to go somewhere on the run.
Nice, that's right. And in flight now, you've got internet. So have you written a story already in the air and filed it?
Multiple times. Yeah, I've done that a few times. Yeah. Thank God for the internet on the plane, because there were some times I remember getting off a plane before that all that stuff existed and getting messages on my phone and saying, "Oh man, I gotta play catch up now," you know. That's never technology. Fun.
I know, but it's beautiful now that we're able to keep up with it even in the plane. That is crazy stuff. What's your prediction for this game? What do you think?
I don't think they're going to get blown out in this game. I don't think Clemson blows anybody out anymore, really. I think this will be a 2-touchdown game, somewhere in the neighborhood of 31-17, 34-20, something like that, where the offense is able to score a little bit, move the football, and Clemson probably creates a little distance at the end of the game just so they can look good. But I don't think Clemson's going to blow them out.
So you're telling me to take the 19. So I take Miami plus 19 in this one. All right.
I know they don't win many spreads, but I think this is the kind of game that coming off of a victory, they're going to be enthusiastic in the beginning. I think as long as they don't get off to a bad start, they can be in this game in the second half and make it entertaining, which is all you really want at this point.
Injuries? How are they doing injury-wise going into this game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have some defensive linemen backed up. Jared Harrison Hunt's going to probably miss his second game in a row. I don't know about Jacob Lichtenstein, where he missed the last game as well. Leonard Taylor's banged up. So there's a shortage on the defensive line. But the good thing is that's their most deep position, and they got a whole bunch of bodies there that they can rotate and play. So, but that might be where Clemson eventually wears them out. Clemson can run the football. That's what their strength is. And I think, guys like Wesley Basaint, who's a true freshman at linebacker, and Corey Flagg, they're going to have to log a lot of snaps in this game if Miami can't pick up first downs. And, that's where it could potentially get out of control because Clemson can run. And Will Shipley's a good running back.
All right, Manny Navarro joining us for our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report. You can catch him tomorrow on our post-game show, fresh from the locker rooms there in Clemson. So we'll talk to him after the game. Manny, as always, my brother, thank you for the time. Safe in your travels, my friend. We will talk tomorrow in the evening.
Thank you, brother. Talk to you soon. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro, baby. We love him. Great job by Manny, as always. You know, he's a trooper when he's doing it. Getting in, checking in, sitting down in the plane. You got to absolutely love that, dude. You got to love that. The player Mario was ripping into week 1 leads the team in interceptions. Well, that's how it goes. Where did I miss something? What? Huh? Oh, this is your Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. Yeah. All right. Anyway. All right, we got a bunch of things. Wow. I guess we got some news. The Titans yesterday defeated the Packers 27-17. So Titans fans are really happy. They're 7-3. They're celebrating. Tannehill played a decent game. Of course, the beast, the one and only Derrick Henry, was absolutely monstrous in this game. Ran for 2 touchdowns, threw a touchdown, all of that. Plus, the celebration doesn't stop there. That's right. Todd Downing, the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, he was so happy, so giddy about last night's win that now Mr. Downing is celebrating that win with an arrest Friday morning with a DUI. That's right. McCormick is reporting, and that is Terry McCormick, by the way, by TitansInsider.com. Mr. Downing was booked at 4:39 in the morning, and he was pulled over at 3:49. They've asked the Titans where their plane from Green Bay landed based on a review of records available at flightaware.com. Delta flight left Green Bay at 12:15, landed in Nashville at 2:11. The incident raises obvious questions about when, and where Downing consumed the alcohol. The NFL has very strict rules regarding teams making alcohol available to players and coaches. If and at this point, and only if, Downing was drinking on the plane or in the team facility or after the coach returned, that could be a real problem for the Titans. Yeah. 3-something in the morning. Damn, dude. It's rough. It's rough. I mean, listen, this can happen. A DUI can happen to anybody. You know what I'm saying? None of us are perfect. We're all human beings. I usually pick on the people that have multiple ones. Then I know you're a bad person and you're just stupid and you just want to put people at risk. And I don't know how drunk he was or something, but it's not good, man. Obviously, terrible. But hopefully, it's not a major issue for them. Remember, this is a guy replacing Arthur Smith, who took the job with the Falcons. All right. Let's see. Smart ripping two players up 40 with 2 minutes to go. You have to work at being excellent at the time. I don't know what that means. Let's see. What do we have on the chat board? I spent 3 weeks in Qatar Air Base as military missions. Lots of rules foreigners have to follow when you're at the airport. Crazy. Maybe it was different for military, but it sucked. What else? Big O, remember El Caliente on Univision. Oh, yeah. I remember El Caliente. I remember I used to do a show in Saturday afternoons on QAM years ago. And El Caliente, I believe, was on like at 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something. And that was my regular Saturday show. And I remember I'd always have one of the TVs on to Caliente and talking about whatever babes were on in Caliente. I remember that. That's funny. That's a classic show right there. Let's see. CBS News had a story this morning about crappy condition workers building the Qatar stadiums after. Of course, Qatar is a terrible place for a human being to be at. Again, it just I don't even know why we even are. But then again, it's not us. It's FIFA. It's like the Olympic Committee. They have no scruples. They don't care. It's who gives the best bribe. That's who we give it to. Let's see. You can't compare the situations. Oh, okay. You guys are having some kind of back and forth there. Mario looks lost, in my opinion. I had hope for that guy, but the more I see or hear from him, it's a lost cause. He's starting to remind me of a Dan Campbell, all talk and no game. Frankie, that makes no sense, bro. He took FIU to bowl games. He was the number one recruiter in the country for Alabama, and he built up the Oregon program. Hell, beat Ohio State last year. I'm not sure what you're talking about, bro. Javon Holland is one of his draft picks. Kayvon Thibodeau is having a terrific year for the Giants. Did you see what the Giants coach said about Kayvon Thibodeau? He goes, did you see that line that the Giants coach said about Kayvon Thibodeau? Every week I say they're in for a can of ass whooping, and he's the can opener. I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of that's Mario's player. Okay? Go look at the left tackle for Detroit. That's Mario's player. You know what, Frankie? You know what you sound to me like? The guy that gave up on Tua when there was nothing around him. That's what you sound like. Like Mario doesn't have what he needs around him, so he's not going to succeed. But this is the tough love that has to happen the first year. There has to be a shaking of the trees. There has to be, in those movies and comics and cartoons, they grab the guy and they put him upside down and they shake him and the change comes out. That's what they got to do to this organization, to this. They already did it with the administration and the coaches. They did their, years ago, I kept saying the Dolphins need an organizational enema. And they finally did it. They wiped out all the front office and the coaches, and they started fresh with Chris Greer. And it's worked from there on. A little speed bump with Flo, but they fixed it, and they kept going. I said the same thing needed to happen at the University of Miami. Well, guess what? They did it. The administration changed. They're supporting them now. And then now you've got a great coaching staff, but you don't have the players. That's why they haven't won for years. You can keep changing the coaches, but if you keep having the same kind of players, that's what changes. So for you to say, and here's the other thing, and also a bad what's it called, example on your part too. Do you know why? Because Mario has accomplished plenty in his coaching career. Dan Campbell never has. He's never led a group of men, ever, where Mario has already. FIU, Oregon, now he's coming to Miami. And he was successful at FIU, as successful as you can possibly be under a disaster named Pete Garcia. And he was incredibly successful over at Oregon. Now, he's going to have to be better at Miami than he was at FIU and Oregon, no doubt. But bad comparison. Dan Campbell doesn't have the resume that this guy has. And to give up on him now, when he doesn't even have his players, it doesn't make any sense, dude. And the guys he's brought in are balling. Disagree, brother. Completely disagree with you. Big O, NFL moving the Bills game to Detroit because of the snow is weak. No, it's not, bro. Don't get into the conspiracy theory stuff. They're not helping the Bills. They're hurting the Bills. They're losing a shit ton of money. Okay? They're not, and they also lose their home field advantage. They lose money, they lose home field advantage. The Browns are still going to be able to run in the snow, or they're going to be able to run in Detroit. There is no advantage here if there's 4 to 6 feet of snow coming and you don't have a dome. You have nowhere to put that snow, and it's going to cover up the stadium. And if you got to put people in cars to get to that stadium and leave, you're putting people, human beings, at risk all over the streets. Have you ever driven in the snow, Devin? It's bad, bro. Bad. You easily lose control and sideswipe things. And I was in Dallas for the week of the Super Bowl about 10 years ago. Was it 10 years ago? Maybe not. Maybe about 8 or 7. I don't know. Something. It was a while back. The one in Dallas. And it actually snowed, and there were freezing temperatures. The highways were dangerous as hell. I saw people sliding into walls. My producer, Brandon Rodriguez, got sick. I had to go to whatever, Rite Aid or whatever, to get him some medicine. I literally drove 5 miles an hour because the people that were driving at 30 were sliding into walls. And I said, no, dude, I'm not crashing. And it took me like an hour to go like somewhere that was like 5 minutes away. And that's because I would not speed, because I would not go even, I would barely even hit the accelerator. Okay? Why? Because I didn't want to hydroplane into something. So you're putting people at risk. You've got to clear out the stadium. You're putting players also at risk. No. And this is the second time they've done this. Has nothing to do with helping the Bills. Why is everything a conspiracy? Everything. Everything's a conspiracy. Oh, they're trying to help the Bills. No, they're not. Oh, the election was rigged. No, Carrie, you're an effing loser. And so are you, Trump. You're a loser. There's no proof of anything. Why is everything a conspiracy? They're not helping the Bills. They're helping human beings be safe. They're doing the right thing. They've got to play in Detroit on Thursday. That's what it's about, man. That's all. That area is going to get pummeled with snow. I have zero issues with that. Let's see. Dan Campbell's NFL accomplishments. First coach in NFL history to do 120 sit-ups in a day. That's it. That's it, baby. That's what it's all about. Is the Shadster there yet? Okay. Send him a reminder there. I do not think it inadvertently favors Josh Allen as far as weather conditions to pass the ball, though. I think it helps the Browns. How do you like that? Detroit's closer for Browns fans to travel over. Bills fans aren't going to travel over really that much. 2, you lose your home field advantage now. You're playing Detroit. You're not playing on your normal field. So you don't have the crowd, and you don't have the normal, field that you're used to, and somebody else has to adjust to. I actually feel like this is something that helps Cleveland. You're going to be able to run wherever you're at. And passing in the snow, I get it, but it's also super dangerous for the defense because the offensive players have all the advantage in those situations. We're going to look at that one differently. I'm certainly not going to look at it like there's some kind of conspiracy theory. Too much of that crap going on, bro. God. Everything is just like, you don't like something, oh, there's got to be some kind of conspiracy behind it. You don't like how it ended? Oh, there's got to be a conspiracy behind it. I can't go in that direction. Hey, can you get a couple napkins? I screwed up here. Al, can you give me a couple napkins, please? Anyway. Spillage. Yeah. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend. Thank you, sir. We're going to get to Joe Shad now. We're going to get into a little hijinks with Joe Shad because we love doing that. He's all about hijinks. Can't do anything with Joe except hijinks. That's what we're all about. He's ready to go. Let's go. Let's get into hijinks with Joe Shad and our hijinks sports grill. Miami Dolphins report.
Dolphins fans, it's time to talk to the man with incredibly high standards. It's not easy to score an A or grade 10 out of 10 with this guy. In fact, he isn't impressed with Joey Chestnut's dominance, Usain Bolt's speed, or even Evan Ginkel's locks. Will the hijinks continue? Can the Miami Dolphins do the impossible by getting a passing grade with Joe Shad? It's time for the Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Report. This report is brought to you by Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca at 133 Southeast Meisner Boulevard. Enjoy happy hour 4 to 7 p.m. Reserve a VIP table online and receive 1 free sparkling wine. Follow them on Instagram at Hijinks Sports Grill. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Joe Shad.
All righty, there he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. Where are you going this weekend? You're going to Bahamas? Where are you going? Mexico? Paris? What are you doing this weekend? You're muted. Muted. Can't hear you.
I'm going to Hijinks Sports Bar and Grill in Boca Raton.
Nice. I was going to go today, but I can't. I'm going to go on Monday or Tuesday to go hang out with Rob and have a little fun over there. You're going to go today, actually, for real?
Yeah, I was going to bring my wife because you said you were bringing your wife.
Yeah, I wanted to, but a doctor's appointment got in the way, and so I've got to do that today. And so
maybe I'll go anyway. Tell Rob to look out for me and my wife.
Okay, all right, you got it. I will reach out. I got to reach out to Rob anyways, and set it up for Monday or Tuesday, and go out there, and hang out with Rob. Probably Tuesdays when I'm going to go to Hijinks. If any of you live in Boca in that area, I will be at Hijinks Sports Grill. I won't be there on Tuesday. Oh, that's right. Because I have to come back. Yes, it'll be Monday. I have to go Monday. I have no choice. I have to go Monday.
U.S. World Cup is 2 p.m.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. Wales, right?
What time is your show?
Till 1.
Okay.
10 to 1. So
right around. It would be good to watch World Cup there. There'll be a lot of people there.
Exactly. There'll be a lot of people, a lot of babes. So it'll be a lot of fun. We'll be headed out there on Monday. We'll go check it out. So I promise you, Monday, I'm going to drive up there after the show and hang out at Hijinks Sports Grill. And I got to try, obviously, the food and the wings and all the stuff that Joe recommends. I will definitely check it out. I'll post some videos and stuff like that so you guys can check it out. I like it. All right. So what is the quest for the Dolphins during a bye week?
Just to stay out of trouble and rest. Stay off the jet skis. I know one of the other NFL players sustained a serious injury recently. I think it was falling off either a jet ski or one of those, what is it called, a four-wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go in the ditch in the four-wheeler. Dolphins have enough injuries to work through. I saw you posted something about the amount of salary cap that the Dolphins have on injured reserve, and it's true between Emmanuel Ogbah and Byron Jones. I mean, right there, two of the highest paid players.
And Brandon, I don't care that the money's not big, but he's so damn important. And Nick Needham, the money ain't big, but he's so damn important. And, it's Trill Williams was important to your depth. It's sick, dude. And Eichenberg, okay, whether you agree with him as a starter or not, it's still depth that you lost with Eichenberg, overall. So, yeah, it's been amazing. Actually, I talked about this yesterday also. Mike McDaniel has, sometimes we watch Sperano come and rest in peace, Sperano. But that first year, a lot of stuff went his way. And then you kind of like, oh, okay, this is great. And then after that, you find out what it's all about. And then Adam Gase in his first year, everything went his way. And then you find out after that, well, what I love about the Mike McDaniel era and how it started off, it has started off with a shitstorm. It started off with your owners and the mess in the offseason, and you lose a first and a third rounder and all this crap, and he's got to answer these kind of questions. And then he's got, the doubts that people have of him because nobody else was interviewing him, only the Dolphins. And the narrative was, oh, the Dolphins can't get a good coach because they got to force him to work with Tua and all these stupid things that were thrown out there. And then all of a sudden, he's got all these injuries. And a lot of them are on, his side of the ball that kind of affect him. And then on the defense too. And you're like, yo, this guy is suffering all kinds of injuries. His quarterback goes out for 3 weeks and his team's in first place. He's already beat the Bills. It's like, the Mike McDaniel era has gotten off to a great start because you're watching him coach players, you're watching players improve, and you're also watching him, face a ton of adversity, something that Sperano and Gase did not have to face in their first year, and he's overcoming it all, So that's actually
I mean, to
cool
be fair to Gase, I do remember that throughout his Dolphins career, he encountered numerous hurricanes, literal and figurative. So there was always something going on.
No, but you're missing my point. You're missing my point. The first year he had nothing.
So there was no hurricane, there was no cocaine, there was no Lawrence Timmons. None of that stuff happened the first year.
I mean, Lawrence Timmons means nothing, and the cocaine.
Well, no.
The cocaine coach is something. I mean, but Lawrence Timmons was in. I mean, what was that? What was that?
The guy went AWOL before a game. I mean, he was a starting linebacker. That was a big deal back then.
I know, but
anyway, the point is, Gase.
Was he really going to be an impactful linebacker, Joe? Was that like a big loss, or was that just
No, Lawrence Timmons was supposed to have the kind of impact that Mario Williams didn't, and Shaq Lawson really didn't, and Melvin Ingram maybe kind of is. Ingram's doing pretty well for that 1 year end of career kind of contract. So, but anyway, listen, I get your point. McDaniel is
not even close.
Listen,
not even close, right?
Well,
not even close. Byron Jones, all these guys, not even close, bro. Not even close.
I'm trying to agree with you.
Okay.
He's emotionally mature and smart and stable. And those are all really cool things to have.
And that's the good thing about this first year, that you kind of get a real feel for the guy through good and bad, and a lot of bad too. And to me, that's been one of the impressive things of the front office and the coaching, something you have never covered with the Miami Dolphins, something I haven't seen since the Shula days. We have not seen a combination of front office and coaches working together and unearthing talent and developing talent, from finding Justin Bethel to actually making him work on the field, from finding Robert Jones to actually making him a productive player on the field. Those kind of things, I think that needs to be, given a lot of props.
McDaniel and Greer are two agreeable guys. McDaniel largely defers to Greer on personnel, but Greer listens to McDaniel's opinion, especially on, receivers and running backs, and that makes for a nice working arrangement. We all have, well, except for you. You don't have anybody that you have to answer to, right? That must be nice.
Only the wife. That's it. Only got to answer to wife. Sean, obviously, I got to answer to.
All the rest of us have to actually work with people. You just do whatever the hell you want.
Well, nice. Some of us have that power.
Very Nick Saban-esque.
Some of us have that luxury. But then again, Joe, guess what? I built it up 30 years to be able to have this luxury. Okay? It's not like, I'm some slop dick that was on radio for 6 months, and then all of a sudden I went off of my own. Well, the reason I can go off of my own is because, I worked my ass off for 30 years to build up something. So, it's kind of it goes hand in hand. You know what I mean?
Well,
plus my business is going in this direction. Yours is not, but mine is going in this direction. It's about platforms, bro. The radio is dead practically. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
there's always gonna be a need for people like me to provide written analysis. It's just a matter of whether or not it's going to be online only, through
Right.
social media platforms, Instagram videos. So there's always going to be a need for Dolphins columnists slash analysts, but how they present, and I'm thankful for this platform. This is very effective. A lot of people watch this, and I get a lot of comments about our show. Oftentimes they say, why don't you tell Big O to interrupt you less? But it's all right. We're working on it.
That's what I do. It's what I do.
My wife actually asked me to interrupt her less. So apparently I'm an interrupter in my household. So we both got to work on that.
Well, that's what it is. When you say crazy shit, you're interrupting her. So you say crazy shit, and I got to interrupt. Hey, Herbert is great. What? And so it's like Poupart. He tells me, give Teddy Bridgewater a couple of weeks of practice, and there won't be much of a drop off from him and Tua. There's no way I'm going to stay sane when you say something like that. That's just craziness. Sometimes and listen, I do it too. We all do it. We all say some crazy things that will trip the hell out of people. And so I guess your wife will say something that will trip you out, and then,
Let me ask you this. Do you think that there are some broadcasters, some former coaches, players, people on TV, journalists, whatever, former NFL executives, who are a little more cautious about criticizing Tua because of the Tuanon effect, because they're afraid that there's going to be a tsunami of attack on social media towards them? Do you
hell
think
yeah.
that is a factor? Okay.
Dude, did you listen to Adam Archuleta?
What did he say?
Oh my God. You know what I want you to do?
He didn't mention Tuanon, did he?
No. I want you to do this. I want you to go find the game he did about a month and a half ago,
Okay.
and then this game. I guarantee he tore into Tua. He was saying all kinds of crazy ass shit, trying to twist it to back up his narrative of what he thought of Tua. And then Tua just kept doing other things that were opposite of what he was saying. And then in this game, Tua was magical, obviously, but I can tell that Tuanon got to him after that game. I can tell Tuanon, he must have been on social media. They must have just buried his ass. And I swear to God, Joe, you listen to this broadcast, and he painted Tua like the greatest quarterback in the history of mankind. I mean, it was from night and day that there's no way you go to those extremes if Tuanon did not attack you. So yes, there's no doubt in my mind that it's become a thing now. Come on, dude. Dolphins receipts and all that stuff going on, all that craziness. I mean, this is just taking on a life of its own. This whole Tua thing, it's fun.
Yeah. Okay, so for you it's fun, for others not so much.
Well, I happen to
but,
be
yeah.
this time. I happen to be on the right side of it. That's why it's fun for me, Joe. That's the only reason. If I was
it's unfortunate that there's only two camps you can be in.
right,
Someone who claims
Right.
that they never, ever wavered, even when Tua struggled in two memorable late season games. One was
Yeah.
Tennessee, the other one was what, Buffalo?
yeah, I'm one of the few psychos that did that. I
So
know.
okay, so I don't know. I mean, if you never wavered, does that make you a little crazy too?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Okay.
did I ever waver with Tannehill? No. I always said he was never a franchise guy.
But
Never
how could
wavered.
you know? Okay.
Never wavered. Never wavered because he never proved to me at any time that he was nothing more than a game manager and a guy that, when everything's on point, he can facilitate. But when craziness happens and there are breakdowns and then you've got to then ad lib, that's not his game.
So he
That's
brought a team to not to defend
No,
Tannehill too
that's
much, but
Derrick
he brought.
Henry.
Hold on. I want to make a point here. Tannehill brought a team to an AFC Championship game. Jared Goff brought a team to a Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo brought a team to a Super Bowl.
Mhm.
And yet there are national broadcasters who point to those guys as, guys who are good enough to get you there, but not bring you over the top. I
Right.
think that's a little bit unfair. Any quarterback, Mark Sanchez, Trent Dilfer, any quarterback who brings who is the quarterback on a team that goes to the Super Bowl, should not be slandered. They deserve credit for what they accomplished.
I'll give you a great example.
I just think it's a little unfair.
No, it's not unfair. I'll give
It
you a
is
great
unfair. Jimmy Garoppolo is not a slouch. If Jimmy Garoppolo
He's a decent
was
quarterback.
a slouch,
Yeah.
if he was a bum, I just hate that. I wish that it wasn't, well, you're either Hall of Fame material or trash. That is unfortunately today's. No, that's today's society. It's one or the other. There's nothing in between.
I don't look at it that way.
There's nothing in between.
Trash is, John Beck. Trash is Cleo Lemon. Trash, you know what I'm saying? These guys that you're talking about, Garoppolo.
Don't disparage Cleo Lemon.
Okay.
Go ahead.
These guys are game managers, is what I see. And you are right that you can win with those guys, but you win with those kind of guys when you have generational defenses. And the perfect example is Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is the worst quarterback in the history of time to win a Super Bowl. He couldn't throw more than 10 yards. But that's 2016, I think it is. Denver defense was so nasty, and they had a running game that they didn't need him to do too much. They just needed him to facilitate a little bit, get us to 15, 18 points. We'll do the rest. Same thing with Baltimore in 01. Same thing with the Bucs in 03. Sometimes your quarterback is not required to do a lot because you are so special in other ways. Bob Greasy, who is a Hall of Fame quarterback, but 1 year in the Super Bowl, they told Bob, hey, Bob, you're going to throw the ball 6 times, and we're going to win.
And he's a Hall of Famer. And listen,
wait a minute. But Bob did plenty of other things throughout his career before and after and at Purdue and all that you could tell that he was a damn good quarterback. But the bottom line was their team was so dominant that day, they didn't even need Bob to be at his best. And I'm not putting Bob in the same category as some of those other guys. I'm just saying that there are times when teams are so dominant that even your quarterback, who's considered supposed to be a franchise, only has to be.
I understand, but let me make this point, okay? And we go back and forth, and it's a good conversation. Okay, so Tua has some superpowers, okay? Accuracy, poise, and clutch gene, okay?
Ball placement, too.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, accuracy, ball placement. Okay, yeah. So somebody please clip that off and make a meme of it, okay? But no one should have to apologize for suggesting that Tua probably wouldn't be considered among the top 5 or top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL this year if he didn't also have Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, and Teron Armstead and Connor Williams. Do you agree that both can be true, that Tua has superpowers, but he's having one of the best seasons in the NFL this year, in large part because all those other people I mentioned? Is that fine, or does that put you on the receipts list?
No, it does. You're 1,000% right. The problem that clouds all of that is that when he didn't have it, they went, and you did too, with the absolutes. He doesn't have it. He's not the guy. And then I had to fight all of you people and say,
I never said that. No, don't lump me in with anyone who gave up on Tua and said that he has to be replaced.
You might want to go to our timeline on Twitter, because we had a little fun and we posted some old videos, and we posted a video of you and I from a year ago.
One video clip. Yeah, you got one video clip.
No, it's not a video clip. You need to watch that whole interview. How in that interview, I'm telling you, you've already kind of given up on him, and you're kind of agree with me already at that point. You'll see it in that video. But my point
is, Deshaun Watson still an option at that point? Listen, Deshaun Watson is a monster, but do you think he has better talent than Tua?
I think you got to listen to that interview, because in that interview, listen to me, watch, okay? You phrased it like McDaniel and Greer weren't ready to say Tua was elite. And then I'm telling you, in that interview a year ago, I'm telling you, they don't have to tell you. They brought the coach. They're bringing the players in. They're surrounding him with the talent because they believe in him. They don't have to tell you. And sure enough,
you got to be honest here. Listen, you got to be more honest with the audience. Listen, McDaniel had no choice. Tua was going to be his quarterback. There was no choice.
Yeah, but McDaniel
because he was the 5th pick, and because Greer is attached to him.
Yeah, but obviously he wanted to coach him. I mean,
no, McDaniel wanted to be head coach in the NFL. He didn't take the job because of Tua. You don't believe that?
See, that's the problem right there, Joe. You don't think he's special. Well, I do. That's the difference.
5 minutes ago, I mentioned
that's your attitude. That was your attitude a year ago. If you listen to that video and you watch it, you weren't convinced with the kid. That's the difference between you and me.
Of course I wasn't convinced based on the evidence at hand. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's 3 groups of people.
Exactly.
People who never thought Tua Tagovailoa could or would be an elite NFL quarterback. People who no matter
you were fooled
what
by the evidence.
No,
I wasn't.
Evidence.
You were fooled by the atmosphere of the last 2 years, and that's what you made the player. Where I deciphered it differently. I deciphered it just like Steve Young. Steve Young is in Tampa. No wonder he looks like shit. They can't play. Bill Walsh says, no. I saw that kid in the LA Express and the BYU. Let me go trade for him. And he traded for him, and Steve Young was a different player again because he had people around him that knew what the hell and how to handle football. That's where you and I differ. I never lost any faith in Tua because the only thing I could ever be concerned with Tua was injury history. I could never be concerned about the player. That's where you and I differ. I always thought what you see now is what he is. He's a baller. Always has been.
Listen, the next time, were you invited to the Tua Tagovailoa luau? Were you there?
No.
So
I'm not in the circle.
So if you were all in, why didn't you get to go to the luau? I know I wasn't invited.
I don't know. Listen, I don't need to be, I get who
Why
he
weren't
is,
you at the luau? Why weren't you at the luau?
Bro, I'm not asking to be at a luau, my man. I'm not. I don't need to be in a circle. If he wants to invite me, I would more than love to go with the wife and go enjoy the luau.
Yeah. Did you know my wife was born? Did you know my wife is Hawaiian born? Did you know that? Who would like a luau more than that?
Well, then
all right,
why didn't you get to the luau?
Well,
why didn't you get to the luau?
Maybe now that I cite all of Tua's superpowers, maybe I'll be invited next time.
Is she Hawaiian also?
She's Hawaiian born. Yeah, she was born. Tua doesn't know this because I've never had like a friendly conversation, just about not in a press conference. But my wife was born in the same hospital as Tua's mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we go to Hawaii all the time. Did you know that?
No, I did not. You big spender, you.
Well, I either go to Hawaii or the Hijink Sports Bar and Grill. Those are the 2 choices.
Both hot places.
Speaking of which, maybe I should go have lunch.
All right, what do you got going at the Palm Beach Post?
Nothing. Bye weekend. Shut it down. Read a column that I Come on. Listen, the Palm Beach Post is a good place to work. My boss lets me get some rest. I'm still healing up my eyes a little bit. I'm going to put up the Christmas tree.
By the way, do you believe that the Bills have an advantage by moving the game to Buffalo to Detroit, where I think it's a disadvantage because they lost their home field advantage, and Cleveland fans actually are closer to travel to Detroit than Buffalo fans. And on top of all that, they may show up. Who knows? You never know. Those Browns
6
fans,
hours. It's a 6-hour drive. They've been driving. They got the foldable tables packed. They've been on the road for hours. Trust me.
Those people are nuts in Brownsville, so they would go too. But what do you think? Is that because I actually think this helps Cleveland that they don't have that? No, Buffalo will no longer have a home field advantage.
Does Buffalo no longer have a home field advantage? Yeah, but I mean, Buffalo is probably still going to win.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I broke it down. Look at Buffalo and New York have the 3 teams, or at least 2 of the 3. Buffalo, I think, has all 3 that the Dolphins just beat. And we have to be honest: Cleveland, Detroit, and whoever the third one is. Help me out here. Cleveland, Detroit, and whatever. Anyway, the third team that they just beat. So they're not among the best in the league. And Buffalo still has them on the schedule, so they have an easier remaining schedule. I think we're headed for a tiebreaker scenario. Both teams 11-6. That's what I wrote the other day. Check it out on the PalmBeachPost.com.
Follow him on Twitter at Shad Joe. Joe, we love you. Have a great weekend, my brother. We'll catch up next week.
See you, bud.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Shad. By the way, he can try all he wants. Well, that is your Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report.
This has been the Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report with Joe Shad. This report is brought to you by Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca at 133 Southeast Meisner Boulevard. Enjoy happy hour from 4 to 7 p.m. Reserve a VIP table online and receive 1 free sparkling wine. Follow them on Instagram at Hijinks Sports Grill.
Right. Ready to go. What else do we have here? Frankie says, advantage Buffalo because Thanksgiving they play the Lions the following week, short week. For that, yeah, but that's not travel anyways. Buffalo to Detroit is not considered, like a real. Now you are playing in 4 days, so that's the bad news for the Bills. But the Bills will not sleep in their houses or anything like that for 4 days now. They'll go to Detroit, they'll stay there, they'll practice there, and then they'll play on Thursday. They're not going to go back to Buffalo. So it's kind of a disadvantage in that sense. Look, Buffalo's the better team. They should beat the Browns. They should beat the Lions. But I got to tell you, the way they're playing and the way this wacky NFL season is, I would not say it's a guaranteed thing that they're going to win both of those games. I would not be shocked if Buffalo loses one of those two. They're not playing well. Just saying, it's crazy stuff has been happening in the NFL. To think that you're automatic, oh man, I gotta say. Jamie says, Big O Joe sounded like the guy that owns the ball at the park when Orlando mentioned the receipts part. That's why he mentioned the luau. Big O, it's only because of the weapons Tua has now. Oh, so look at Aaron Rodgers now. Brady left because of no weapons. Russell Wilson not looking so hot, and on and on. It's called the team. No, you know what? It's awesome. You know what? It's awesome, Sean? Did anybody say, oh, Joe Burrow's awesome, but he's awesome because he has the 3 best receivers in the NFL. Did they mention that? No, right? They never said that. They wouldn't say that. They wouldn't mention that he had a 1,200-yard rusher last year and the best receiving core in the NFL. Nah, it's only Tua. Tua's the only one. They don't say, well, Joe Montana, yeah, Rice Taylor, Roger Craig, yeah, Dwight Clark. They never say that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Montana was good, but because of this, and this, no, not at all. Kurt Warner, hell of a quarterback. But no, don't mention Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt and Azakim and Marshall Faulk. No. He's just a great quarterback. It's only Tua, dude. Only Tua has this crap that he has to carry. Like anything and everything he does, they got to find some effing asterisk to add to it. No, he's good. Oh, only because of Mike McDaniel. Well, Steve Young and Joe Montana were great. Only because of Bill Walsh. Nobody ever says that. Marino was great. No, Duper, Clayton, no, Dorio Harris. No, of course, no. Why are we going to mention that? Yes, sir. Oh, you got your mic there. You got some... No, go ahead. What do you got?
I have other quarterbacking news.
Oh, what do we got?
Reed's in it.
Is he in it to win it?
He is in the XFL to win it.
Oh, that's it. That's my favorite XFL team.
He's gone to the San Antonio Brahmas.
That's it. I'm a Brahmas. What the hell is a Brahma?
The Brahma Bull for The Rock.
Oh.
Come on.
I have no idea, bro. I'm not a wrestling guy.
Oh, my goodness. That's just upsetting. But, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Back to the rant. And also, Scott's waiting.
Oh, that's right. We got it going, baby. A little fantasy football for you. Our Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Scott Pianowski. That is next.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. PPR, Draft, Keeper, Dynasty. It's the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Keep up with your fantasy football teams by visiting any of the 8 great Sports Grill locations. Sports Grill, good food, good drink, good friends. Here's Scott Pianowski.
There we are. We're ready to go. Scotty is locked and loaded. How you doing, Scotty? How you feeling?
I'm doing great. And, I love that rant you had on Tua. It made me think about, when Peyton Manning joined the Colts, he did inherit Marvin Harrison, first-round pick. What did the Colts do? They drafted Edgerrin James in the first round. They drafted Dallas Clark in the first round. They drafted Reggie Wayne in the first round. Even guys like Anthony Gonzalez and Donald Brown, who didn't work out, they were first-round picks. And nobody has ever said, well, yeah, of course Manning was great because they constantly gave him first-round skill talent. Patrick Mahomes is wonderful. I think he's the MVP runaway favorite right now. But nope, Andy Reid isn't one of the 3 or 4 best play designers of all time. It's stupid. The way they treat Tua is so dumb because it's just not. If it was just simple just to put out 2 great receivers, I can think of plenty of teams that have receiver talent and don't have the quarterback. We always say in the NFL, if you don't have the quarterback, you don't have anything. Right? Tua is getting disrespected, and I'm glad you're calling people out on it because
I've been calling him out for a while, bro. For a while.
And also, look,
I didn't flinch for 2 years while everything was going on. I said, dude, this guy's going to be a star. It's just the wrong people are around it. I'm old, bro. I'm old. I saw Steve Young. I saw him go from the LA Express to the Bucks and suck. He looked completely useless out there. Yep. But you knew he was a good player if you followed the damn game. And then Bill Walsh said, no. Come on over here. Come on over here.
But I always say that's the greatest and the worst thing about football debates is that you can credit anybody you want. You want to, again, Niners. Was it Rice? Was it Montana? Was it Walsh? Was it the offensive line was very good? As Roger Craig, 1,000-yard receiver out as a running back. I think he's a Hall of Fame guy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And, I come here to give fantasy advice, and I'm going to give some in a second. But I think it's because of our relationship and all the talking we do that I made a trade for Tua. I had a team that was in trouble, and I've mentioned it before, and I know nobody probably cares about my team, but I traded for Tua and Tyreek Hill in September, in part because of talking to you and thinking, okay, I got to do something here. Herbert's not working for me. Mike Evans is off to a slow start. I got to win. I'm behind the 8 ball. And now I'm inside the playoffs, and I have a very dangerous team. Obviously, they can't help me this week. That's fine. I have bench. That's why you have a bench. That's why you have a waiver wire. But I'm sitting pretty right now because I think Tyreek Hill might be the offensive player of the year. I mean, he's going to threaten some records, and I have one of the best hookups you can have in fantasy, right? You want to have, Mahomes to Kelsey. You want to have Burrow to Chase. But you know what? You want to have Tua to either one of these guys. In fact,
Yes.
if I could get Jalen Waddle, I'd run with the three amigos. I mean, because they have such a concentrated tree. It's only going to be those two guys usually when they throw it. So I'm preaching at the choir. Your listeners don't need to hear that Tua is great, but I'm just glad that you're fighting against the tide because there's some bad narratives out there.
Oh, no. Listen, dude, you try to fight against the narrative a year ago or 2 years ago when I'm telling everybody everything around him is wrong. He's fine. And I'm like being called all kinds of, idiot. What's wrong with you? That guy can't play. You don't know what you're talking about, all that kind of stuff. And so this for me, I'm enjoying this more than anybody because obviously my crazy ass was right from the get-go that
By the way,
special.
Before the season, we all talked NFC West. I'm sorry, AFC West. That's the hot division. The best division in football by far is the AFC East.
Yeah. And by the way, NFC East. Who the hell even expected them
I know
to
it's
make
fun.
all the noise?
It's
crazy.
fun. The Cowboys are fun. The Eagles are tremendous. Washington is competitive. Brian Dable has turned the Giants into a legitimate team. They're not as good as their record, but yeah, who thought these two Eastern divisions? I mean, it's really in play that Buffalo might be going on the road in the playoffs. Miami could win this division, and I agree with you. They got to play Detroit. The worst time to play Detroit is on Thanksgiving.
Yes,
that's when you don't want to play them. On a short week, Buffalo's getting a little bit of an edge that they don't have. I think the traveling now, so they can get settled in a little bit. I think that actually helps them a little bit for the Thursday game. But that's the one time the Lions, that's their Super Bowl. We know they're not going to the playoffs.
Yeah, but also Buffalo loses home field advantage in this Cleveland game.
Yes, that's right.
And that to me also helps Cleveland out a little bit. Not that I think Cleveland or Detroit are better than Buffalo. Hell no, dude. You can put both those teams together and you're still not going to be better than Buffalo. But the way the wacky NFL is, I just wouldn't put it past them that they drop one of those games considering the way the Bills are playing right now.
Right. And this is why it's kind of like when people bet teasers, oh, I just need these three teams to win money line. They're all 9-point favorites. And then they act surprised when one of them loses. It's like if I told you, Big O, let's bet on Steph Curry making a free throw. We'd all bet on him making a free throw. But if you added another player and another player and another player, eventually one of the 85% free throw shooters miss. Maybe Buffalo's 80% or 85% to beat Cleveland or Detroit, but you add both of them together, and there's probably a 40% chance they lose one of these games because you just can't assume that Curry makes every free throw. He's going to miss once in a while, and as you add liability, that's why the teaser bet is a bad bet because you add liability because you need everything to go right. Eventually, one rims out on you.
Amen. All right. You got some fantasy football questions? Send them in right now on the YouTube chat board, on our Welt and Rayom text line at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. And, of course, on Twitter at Big O Show. First, let's go flex. Melvin Gordon or Rondale Moore?
Going to go Rondale Moore. May not be Hopkins on Monday. We're not sure who the quarterback is. Although you could argue they were better off with McCoy last week. Now, McCoy's dinged up too, so I can't guarantee you who's going to be their quarterback, but I just don't want to roll with that Broncos offense. They have three backs. When you have three backs in fantasy, you really can't play any of them, so let's play Rondale Moore.
All right, Cooper or Sutton?
Cooper's been pretty reliable. I know the Buffalo defense is good, although they have some injuries on the back end. I need a prove-it game from Sutton. And again, that Denver, Denver, 8 of the 9 Denver games have gone under this year. They have an offense that can't score, and they have a defense that doesn't allow people to score. I think that game is going to be Derek Carr and Russell Wilson trying not to screw it up. So many teams hide their quarterbacks right now. I think that's how the Broncos have to play. I can't play Cortland Sutton. Give me Amari Cooper.
Okay. Chase Barrett is asking, who should I flex this week? Need one. Slayton, Duvernay, or Freiermuth, or DPJ?
A lot of options. I'm going to lean Slayton. The unfortunate thing with DPJ is just never scores touchdowns. He's getting like 60, 70 yards a week, but he doesn't have a lot of touchdown equity. I'm glad you added or have Freiermuth because with Chase Claypool gone, I think Freiermuth will inherit a lot of those targets. He didn't have a huge game last week, but the Saints are really good against the tight end. Slayton's my play this week, but I think Pat Freiermuth is going to be on a lot of winning fantasy rosters maybe in December.
All right, half-point PPR pick, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Garrett Wilson, or Adam Thielen?
Going to go Wilson. Went for $1.15 in the first matchup. And the Patriots have to pick their poison. They also got singed by Tyler Conklin in that game. He had 2 touchdowns. The Patriots have not marked tight ends well. Now you would think Belichick, he should identify the best thing on the other team and eliminate them. Well, he didn't stop Garrett Wilson the last time they played. I know Zach Wilson is really hard to trust, but Garrett Wilson's a freak, man. Ohio State, I don't know how they keep doing it with those 2 guys. And Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like a stud. And Jameson Williams was actually there, and he left because that's how good Garrett Wilson was at Ohio State. Jameson Williams, like, I'm never going to get on the field. I got to go to Alabama where there's less competition. So let's keep rolling with Garrett Wilson.
Let's throw some of the names out there that might be on the periphery. What do we do with a guy like Nico Collins?
Like him. 10 targets last week. They seem to be souring on Brandon Cooks. I think Mills has played a little bit better of late. So, look, the opportunity will be there. Collins is a deep threat, so you have to live with the fact that he may get 7 or 8 targets, only 2 or 3 completions, but one of them can make your day. Nico Collins is one of my favorite pivots. It's a horrible week for receivers on bye, right? Obviously, the Miami guys aren't playing. We just lost Cooper Kupp to injury. So that's why people are asking about Peoples-Jones, who's, again, he'll get 70 yards, he won't score a touchdown. That's why people are asking about Nico Collins. Nico Collins is one of my favorite pivots for Week 11.
Trent Sherfield, has he become a flex in the Miami offense?
Yeah, I'm still not there yet. Only because the 2 overlords at receiver, and then they have 2 running backs who touch the ball too. Wilson's fit in seamlessly. Mostert's a good player. Again, you maybe if you're really, really screwed with injuries, you could play him, but I would prefer to leave it to they have a core 4 right now. That's where my focus is.
If you want to send in your fantasy questions, send them in right now on the YouTube chat board. You can send them in also on our Welt and Rayom text line at 855-912-1056. That's Welt and Rayom, 855-912-1056. Frankie is asking, should I start Marquez Scantling flex since Hardman was placed on IR?
Yeah, make sure MVS is healthy. That receiver room has plenty of injuries, but I'd be okay with that. I'd also be okay with Tony if he's available. I know he's probably gone in most leagues. And their backfield is actually interesting now, too, because they've really soured on CEH. So Pacheco gets to run against the worst run defense in the league, and McKinnon has caught 6 passes the last 2 weeks. We always talk about backfields. When you can eliminate one player from a backfield and go from 3 to 2, they become playable. So I like you playing Pacheco this week if you can. I like you playing McKinnon. MVS, if healthy. Tony, I think they're good plays too. And I think we'll see a lot of points in the Sunday night game.
Is there an order with Pacheco and McKinnon and how you like them, one over the other?
Yeah, Pacheco, I'll give it to him first. The thing is, they never throw the ball to him. He only has 13 receiving yards. So if you were in full point PPR, maybe you'd go McKinnon. But Pacheco he's going to get more touches. I think he has a little bit more touchdown equity, so he'd be the first guy I play. And again, this Chargers run defense is a turnstile. They just wave you through. So I don't know that Pacheco's going to be maybe that great for the rest of the season, but I think he's in a smash spot against a defense that can't stop what he can do.
All right. If Ricard White becomes the lead back, what back would you trade to upgrade at the wide receiver position? I have Saquon, Etienne, Ken Walker, and White. Receivers are Diggs, Hollywood, Myers. What would you do? Which running back?
Well, this is what you do. You put everybody on the market. You say, look, I have an excess of running backs. I need whatever you need, quarterback, receiver, tight end, and let the market play out. Let's see who somebody else will overpay. I will not say, well, you have to trade this guy or that guy. Be careful with White, though. They haven't totally given up on Leonard Fournette. Fournette did run better in the Munich game. Maybe Tampa Bay needs to move to Munich. I don't know. Maybe Tom Brady found a supermodel. I don't know what happened because I thought Seattle was going to win that game and Tampa Bay showed up for the first time in 2 months. But when you have depth like that, put everybody, even if you have in your mind, I'm never trading Barkley. It doesn't matter. Let the other guy think that you'll trade any of those guys, and you might get a Herschel Walker deal. You might get some ridiculous package. Let somebody else. And people are desperate. There's somebody in your league right now who's not going to make the playoffs unless they win out. Maybe they don't have Waddle this week or something like that. They're going to do dumb things. So take advantage of that. Put everybody on the market. See who they'll overpay for. That's how I play those situations.
Okay. Hello, Big O and Scott. Who should I flex this weekend? I only need one running back. Foreman from Carolina or the Chargers, Palmer or Williams?
Foreman. I'm going to keep rolling with Foreman. I know they're huge underdogs, but they don't want Baker Mayfield throwing 30 times. Unfortunately, probably going to sink DJ Moore again, which he's done all season. But Foreman, Carolina looked terrible against the Bengals. I get it. but they've been a competitive team for a month, and Foreman's been fantastic, and they don't have any problem giving him 25 or 30 touches. So they may get blown out in this game. I still think Foreman's going to be around 100 yards, maybe a 35% chance at a touchdown. I think he's an excellent fantasy play for the rest of the season.
All right, Brandon wants to know Ravens defense or Jets defense this week.
Point spread's always your friend here. The Ravens are like 12 or 13-point favorites. The Jets, although very good defense, and Mac Jones has not played well, they're actually underdogs. I'm always going to follow the point spread because you play with leverage. You want your defense to be ahead in the fourth quarter. The pass rushers pin their ears back. The offense has to be desperate, take chances. That's where you get those garbage points. So when you're ever in doubt on a defensive question, always follow the point spread. And when the discrepancy is this large, I have to play the Ravens.
Sebastian is asking, I just lost Coop. Do you think it's a good idea to pick up the other receiver in LA with the crazy name? I'm not sure how you spell it.
Skoranek, it sounds like. Yeah, I'll tell you what he's going to do. He's going to catch 5 passes for 48 yards and no touchdown. He's going to be like the poor man's Donovan Peoples-Jones. I mean, maybe it speaks to how deep your league is. Maybe you have to go there. I don't trust Stafford. I don't think he's healthy. I don't like this offensive line. I think Sean Payton. I think Sean McVay is going to be somewhere else next year, probably consulting or in a broadcast booth, because they're drawing dead. Look, they won the championship. The flag flies forever, but they have such a bad situation with their draft picks and everything. I want no part of the Rams offense. I don't want to play Robinson. I don't want to play Higbee. They have too many running backs. None of them are going anywhere. The line play has been terrible. You want to pick up Skoranek. You're in a deep league. I have to play him in one league just because I'm kind of screwed, but I'm expecting about 50 yards.
All right, let me see. Can we trust Jefferson since Coop is out?
Again, I don't trust any of the Rams guys. Robinson, okay. Jefferson, Skoranek, Higbee, Flipper Anderson. Isaac Bruce. I would play Flipper. He'd probably go for 336.
All right.
And as you said, that Rams team was so much fun. And you mentioned Kurt Warner, by the way, having that Rams royalty. Also, when he ended up in Arizona, here's Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden. There's a Hall of Famer and a borderline Hall of Famer. That was pretty fun too.
All right, Mr. Cobb is asking Pierce or Ramondre Stevenson.
Well, man, I'd play both of them if I could, but. I'm gonna lean Pierce only because I respect that Jets defense, and I think Pierce is maybe a safer bet for 20 carries. But there's no wrong answer here. They're both.
I want to know who's his flex.
They're both in my top 12. I think this question is more of a show off of look how good my running back room is. He's probably got Barkley at the top of his depth chart or McCaffrey or something.
Like who's his? Okay, so who's the other running back and who's your flex? Like, are you sure you got like somebody better than those two guys?
Yeah, my wallet's too big for my wallet doesn't fit my hundreds. I don't know what I'm gonna do. If there's a line from Broadcast News, what do you do when your life is better than your dreams? And they say, keep it to yourself.
Right.
That's how I feel. When your running back room is that good, keep it to yourself.
All right. Walker is on a buy for me. Is Elijah Mitchell a decent fill-in? Also, Olave or Cole Kmet for a flex?
I got to go Kmet for the touchdown equity. I know some people might say, well, 5 touchdowns on 11 catches, that's not sustainable. But everybody's so petrified of Fields that they set up easy scores for Kmet. I'm really high on him. Not that Olave's a bad player, but I think Kmet's chances at a touchdown are a lot higher. Mitchell was more of the primary back last week. I don't think that's generally how they're going to play it, but he'll probably get 10 carries. They're going to use 2 backs there. So I'm thinking maybe 13 touches for Mitchell, somewhere between 60 and 80 yards, give him like a 25% chance at a touchdown. That's not bad.
All right. Tell them what is going on in Yahoo this week so you can get the folks ready for this weekend.
Sure. Gave out sleepers on Thursday, not just guys for this week, but guys to pick up for the future. A couple of defenses are on bye this week that have great matchups. Miami, pick up the Miami defense. They have, Houston, I think it is next week?
Yeah.
You're going to want a piece of that. Give out the picks. Today, 5 picks we give out every week. We're like 63% against the spread. And then on Sunday, Fantasy Football Live, I'll be part of the show on video. And of course, at Yahoo Fantasy, I'll be answering your start-sit questions all the way up to kickoff. A lot of injury situations to figure out. We're starting some really ugly receivers. So let's have a conversation on Sunday, and then we'll be back here next week digesting turkey sandwiches and try to get you a win in Week 12.
Amen. All right, Scotty, as always, I appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up on Black Friday next week.
Have a great holiday and good luck this week, guys.
You got it. There you go. The great Scott Pianowski. Follow him on Twitter, Scott_Pianowski.
You've been listening to the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Go to sportsgrill.com to find a great location near you. Fantasy football fans, subscribe to the Big O Radio Show on YouTube and all other platforms to catch up with all our fantasy football insight provided by Scott Pianowski and Andy Behrens.
All righty. We're out here at, of course, our KSDT CPA offices. Alan is kind enough to join us here at KSDT. So how's the whole place with the whole Dolphin craze going on? And
it's good. It's one of those where it's you have hope for the first time in a long time.
Right, yeah.
It's one of those, but then history dictates that you're like, well, let's not go all in yet. Let's be emotional. Let's support it. But we've seen the deck of cards get wiped out before. So, we're excited, but
one of the things I've told people, I've told fans, don't live in the past.
Yeah.
This is not the past.
Absolutely.
You never had a quarterback since Marino. And every time, that's why there was always a trap door. We never really had a really good coach overall, right. Front office. I think this is finally the combination.
I think so.
We haven't had this combination since like the 80s.
Yeah. And let me tell you, when you watch the receivers, they're physical. They're not pushovers the ball, and they do yards after the throw. When you hit them, they don't go down. I mean, they're rock solid. So it's not and then he's for the first, I was always worried about him kind of being able to lead the receiver and kind of had enough oomph on it to get it there, but he's doing a good job, and they can do yards after the catch. So that's exciting.
Yeah. He's super accurate, man. Yeah. And he has a great understanding of the game. It's one of the things why, people looked at me really weird when I kept saying he's a star. You just got to fix everything around him. And I'm glad I'm right.
You're either neurotic or a visionary.
Yeah, either one of the two.
It could go either way.
But in the end, I don't care about being right so much as I'm glad that the Dolphin fan base finally has a quarterback, because that's a lot of fun.
We always kid around. We always tell people, you better get right or you're going to get left.
Right. That's it. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
So what's new in the KSDT world? Did you add a new office already? Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. Are we going to Martin County next?
We are looking. So we're actually building out a new office off Yamato Road. So we were in Boynton. We're gonna move them down to Yamato Road. We signed a lease, so we're gonna do the build out. Hopefully January 1st we'll be open there. So then now we're gonna be attracted to the FAU market, the Florida Atlantic market, because we have a lot of recruits that are coming out of there. And
it's a great school, man.
It's a great school, amazing school. Great sports program.
FIU and FAU don't get enough love for. I just, the problem is that the whole football thing, right? And that's why it's funny how the sports are tied to, the school, when really you can go to FAU and FIU and get a marvelous education.
It's one of those, like, when we all graduated from there, if you really don't know a sports program, why would you know the University of Wisconsin? Why would you know Wyoming? But you see them on ESPN, you're like, oh, I've heard of St. John before. You would never know them except for the sports program.
Right.
But FAU, they play they get 20, 30,000 fans out there, which is impressive.
It's a beautiful stadium.
And they're moving to, I heard, the American Conference.
Yes.
So they're going to be in a little bit bigger conference with some bigger, they're going to fill the bowl up, where unfortunately FIU struggles a little bit on filling it. They
got to win.
They got to win.
It's just, that's how we are in this town, dude. The day that FIU or FAU ever figure it out and become good schools in football, they'll pack their stadiums because their alumni bases are so enormous.
And we're waiting for it. We want to show up.
I know. But this whole thing, nobody show. Well, dude, that's discretionary income is not like it used to be, man. They're not just going to buy your tickets just because loyalty. No, brother, you got to entertain. Right. And if you don't entertain, then I'm going to use my money to go to the Heat, or I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to go to the restaurant, or I'm going to go to a bar or a concert or whatever. I'm going to use that money for something that's going to entertain me. And that's kind of what we're waiting. A lot of us have been waiting for. I thought Mario had it going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And because
the whole Pete Garcia mess is just, for me, whatever. That's a whole other subject, but I thought Mario had it going in the right direction when he was there.
Yeah, and then that was at the T.Y. Hilton years. And you had a little bit of excitement. You're like, like, oh, let's watch this.
If they can build on that, that would have been really, really awesome. I know FAU and FIU are monsters in the making. It's just a matter of getting over that. The problem is now with NILs and everything else, it just becomes
huge. It's huge. But also
harder.
on that note, the FIU though, on a soccer level, they're going to the second round of the NCAA tournament, and number 10, they're playing Sunday here, so that's a little exciting that they're kind of in that final.
They're
bracket.
always there for soccer.
Soccer is strong too.
They're really
so
strong.
Sunday, what is it? Second round on Sunday. Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
It's pretty cool. I mean, are you guys hiring at KSDT,
absolutely.
folks?
You're absolutely hiring.
There we go. Always growing, always hiring. Let's go.
Always growing, looking for talent. If you need anybody, tax advisory, audit. I think this year alone we've brought on 67 people just in 2022, and we still need talent. There's that much work out there, and a lot of people think that the tax season's over. Doesn't stop for us. What happens is that the tax season that
didn't you just have one in October?
But that just means we have to report it.
Right.
That's the compliance side of the house where you have to actually tell the government what you did. But what we look at is the compliance side is reporting what you did last year, right? How we build a relationship with you is we help you decide for this year. So you don't have the problem that you had. So we're fully into tax planning now. So a lot of our clients, we just filed all their returns, but now we're saying, hey, what you saw last year, let's help you not have that next year. And so now from November to February, all these clients are having planning sessions. How do I take advantage of new laws? The Inflation Reduction Act and employee retention credit. And we're like, okay, so here's what you should do in 23. Here's what you should do coming down the road. There's new laws. The House and the Senate might be divided now. Maybe they're going to change some things. So it's always a discussion. Yeah,
they might be divided.
But from an accounting point of view, every time they change the guard, laws change.
By the way, how drastic was it from Trump to Biden?
Emotionally, there was clients that got in panic mode, but Biden really didn't change a lot because some of the tax that Trump had were good for 2 or 3 years, and now they're sunsetting out. But anytime you change the guard from Republican, Democrat, back to Republican, back to Democrat, there's a whole new set of laws, and it's a whole new set of planning, and it's a whole new set of, and as a business, you just got to sit down and say, is there anything new? And then the change from Trump to Biden and Biden to Trump and from Obama to Trump, you throw a pandemic in there, and then you throw all these new, $4 or $5 trillion worth of new rules and laws. I mean, they were passing laws
and crypto crashes,
but they were passing laws in 2020. Most laws, they talk about it for 6 months and then it takes a year. They were passing laws on Friday that were implemented on a Monday, and then they were calling, and we were like, what happened? I didn't see the news. And then it's a $2 trillion new bill. So in 2020, we were like real time. We were advisors to clients because we were learning. We were a small business too, so those laws were helping us keep our business going. So we were real time advising.
Alan, explain before we go on the business side, because everybody thinks about personal taxes.
Yeah,
and then the boring part, just the business taxes.
Yeah,
but you guys do a lot more. That's so much more interesting. That you can help in forecasting, inventory, payroll. Talk a little bit about all of that.
So one of our expertise that really doesn't get a lot of, it's not a headline, but our advisory side is so strong. And what that is that we talked about this before. When you say tax, people's eyes roll back in their head and they're like, oh, but what happens is that a business, whether you're a startup or you're a 5 generation, you're at different stages in your business career, right? So tax is one side of it, but you might be, I have to hire, I have to grow, I have to, change my supply chain. I'm thinking about selling my business. Now I have do I pass it down to my kids? Now I have an estate gifts problem. Now I have a trust. Maybe I need to find a buyer. So we have an entire advisory wing who just deals with mergers and acquisitions. They help find, you might have a dry cleaner or some plumbing and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about getting out. Somebody's out there wanting to buy it. So we help them we broker deals together, and then you sell the business and all of a sudden you go, you know you got a tax problem now,
Right,
because you just sold it for 200 million. But now you have an estate gifts problem. Now you have a wealth management problem. So we try to consult from, you might have an idea on a napkin and you don't know where to go. We'll help you get the funding for it, start it up, incorporate it, set up some payroll for you. But then you might be a mature company in the middle. You're like thinking about buying another franchise,
Right.
or divesting out of this one, or then you might be the mature company. So we have an entire advisory wing that's all they do all day long, and they're in sports franchising. They value, like, think about when like the Broncos sell, right? Someone's got to put a price tag on that,
Yeah.
right? You can come up with whatever 20 billion, but someone's going to say, okay, that really doesn't make sense.
Right.
Our guys actually go in and figure out all the assets and what they're worth, and they hire people like us to say, this is what it's actually worth, and this is what you should pay for it. So business valuation. So we do sports franchises. We've done mineral and gas and oil. And when people sell buildings, people don't know what a building's worth.
Right.
And then how would you know how to calculate the airspace above a building if that has a value?
I just asked Sean.
And Sean calls us.
And Sean, that's it.
Sean goes, Siri, how much does this building cost?
And that's it. So Sean seems to have all
Sean
the
does that.
answers.
Yeah, it calls it Google.
That's it.
I hear you on that. But our guys are the ones that they know how to do oil and gas and minerals and automotive, and people are always buying and selling, and that's the exciting part. The tax and audit are kind of the ongoing.
Yeah.
But it's the business consulting side is kind of the fun side to me.
Right.
Because it's you're dealing with dry cleaners, and
that's why I asked, because I want people to know, it's just
Yeah.
accountants. Well, there's a lot more to it
Absolutely.
than just your taxes for your personal and business.
It's really it's really a financial team.
Right.
Because somebody here is an expert at something.
Right.
So we kind of say, what do you do? Automotive, let's find the automotive guy. Tax, let's find the tax person. And they may not be the same person. Crypto, they may not be the same person, but we kind of get them in a room and say, how do we give you a total support?
Well, if you need total support from the best financial team out there for your business, for personal use, please reach out to the folks at KSDT CPAs, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, baby. We covered you there. Alan, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate
Good
you.
seeing you guys again.
Pleasure to be here, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, let's do it. He is ready to go, right? Ready to go? Cameron Wolf. Let's unleash the Wolf Pack with the KSDT CPA, Miami Dolphins, and NFL report.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All right, there he is, ready to go, locked and loaded. What are you doing this weekend? Where are you going?
I'm going to Detroit now. I'm very happy that I get to miss the snowstorm. Initially was packing every single snow boot and ordered some snow pants. Found everything I could to try to keep this Florida man warm, and they moved it to Detroit. So happily, I'll be in a 74-degree dome reporting on Sunday morning.
So that means your blood is already like ours. You're a complete wuss now, like we are.
I think so. I lived in the Northeast at times. Like I lived in Philly and Jersey for 8 years.
Right.
My dad's from Chicago, so I spent a lot of summers, not winters there. And I lived in Denver for 2 years. And so if I needed to, I could adapt to the cold. But if you've been in the warm for 4.5 years, like I have,
Or
only
50.
going to I know you've been much longer, right? But like I've only gone to the cold maybe 1 or 2 times a year for an assignment. Yeah, my blood is acclimated. Like if I had to move there, eventually I'd get back. Sure. But for 2 days, no, I'd be shivering. I'm shivering my butt off.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm freezing my ass off, dude. We went to New York a couple months ago. This crazy bastard, and I've got like 2 shirts on and a thick ass jacket, and I'm still freezing my ass off. This son of a bitch is walking around in a t-shirt, and the New Yorkers are like, and I'm like, he's from South Florida, just so you'll know.
Right.
They're like,
Right.
huh? And like, yeah. And it's like this guy's walking around in a t-shirt. It's snowing. He's just taking pictures in Times Square. I'm like,
No.
God, you're not normal, bro.
Right. Right.
You're a polar bear. Or
Yeah,
something.
nah, I'm layered up, man. Like I'm not gonna lie. When I played football, I did subscribe to the whole football player mentality thing. Like you don't wear sleeves, that sort of thing. But I was still hella cold. I just did it for a mental thing.
Right.
Nowadays, I don't have to pretend that I'm tough.
No.
I can wear every layer I need to, and I do not hesitate. They were mocking me on TV last year. We went to Nashville, which is usually like the coldest place I go, and it was December. And it was 40 degrees, and I had on a big jacket, my leather gloves, a hat on, and they were like, "That's not cold." I'm like, "Hey, all cold is cold. You know, your cold is not more better than my cold. All cold matters, right?"
Oh yeah, bro.
Oh
yeah.
Wait a minute, Cam. Are you telling me that I'm faking this? I'm not a real guy.
I'm not saying you're faking it, but I do think there's sort of a tough mentality you want to have when you're wearing short sleeve and cold. Like you would be more comfortable wearing a hoodie than you would be short sleeve in 30-degree weather.
I got to tell you something. There's something wrong with him. He gets like cold weather to him does nothing to him.
It does nothing. You're saying you could stand in the cold 30-degree weather all day and it doesn't bother you.
The son of a bitch was walking in blocks in
Yeah.
New York,
Hey.
and the wind was howling, and there were times where you turned the corner, and I was like, and I was free. I'm a total wuss.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he didn't do it for showing off. It's just like I don't know what it is in his DNA.
Some people are built differently. Sean's built differently than me. He's got a different mentality than me. Like
he's got leather for skin.
Exactly. I'm not built that way. I'm not afraid to admit that I am not built that way. You know,
snow angels and tank tops.
Yeah, I mean, it really is impressive, and it's not like he does it all the time. It's like you're like we're in a cold weather, and it's like no, it's not cold. It's nothing here. You know, it's
right.
So I walk into Hialeah Park, and there are sometimes when they have the AC cranked up, and I'm like, shit, I got to go back to the car, go get a jacket. This
see, I'm not that bad. I do
sitting there in the t-shirt, like, no, it's nothing, and it's cold, bro.
Gotcha. I'm not that bad. So I prefer to be in my house in AC, very cold. And honestly, I think it's a little overblown how Florida folks react to cold here. 60 degrees, 55 degrees. I laugh at that.
I'm a total wuss. That's me, bro.
If it's truly cold, if it's 40 or below, and particularly if it's like 30 or below, like snowing temperature, that's when I'm layered up. I'm not, it's cold.
I'm with you there, bro. I
think Michael Irvin, one of my favorite tweets, and you would only get it if you saw it. But Michael Irvin sent out a tweet, I think maybe like 8 years ago, that just simply said in all caps, "When we played in that cold weather, it was cold, man." and I think back to that every time I have to be in a cold assignment. I'm like, it seems so simple. But I felt what he was feeling in that moment. Like, you just got to tell people it's cold, man. It's cold.
It's all good, man. It's all good. All right. So it's but and listen, I know people are saying, oh, the NFL is helping the Bills. The NFL isn't helping the Bills. They're looking out for human beings, bro.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
a
they're
safety
doing.
thing. So, and I get it. Like we have mostly Dolphins fans here, so it's easy to kind of pile on the Bills, and the Bills fans had a lot of their issues with the Miami Heat and the Sun, and so it kind of all adds up here. But the reality is they're not afraid to play in the actual snow or practice in the snow. It's like you said, it's the safety, it's the roads. I mean, I saw some of the pictures. You've got cars 4 or 5 feet stuck under snow. You know, Von Miller posted a picture of his car. It looked like he couldn't even shovel out of it. And so you don't want guys getting in wrecks, getting to the facility, getting to the airport. I mean, like they are talking about leaving Saturday afternoon. It's supposed to only get worse. I hope they get out, but that's the reality of it. And like you said, there's local folks who you got to deal with. You know, what if you have to get to the hospital, trying to get out there on the road? So there's a lot of
and you're putting your fans at risk.
Exactly.
Thousands of people at risk, and it's just not worth it, dude.
Right.
It really isn't worth it. And by the way, I still believe it puts the Bills at a disadvantage because they lose their home field advantage.
They do. They do. And Sean McDermott was trying to talk about, hey, fans still come out. But the reality is, if you're not traveling to Buffalo, not a large number of them are traveling to Buffalo and buying tickets for a game.
4 or 5,000 will probably go, but you're not going to get 40,000 to go over there, bro. Come on. I mean, it's just, and plus they're going to be putting themselves at risk also, with the weather too at the same time. So it's just, I believe some will go, maybe some that didn't have tickets. And this is the way they could get in and go see.
McDermott joke, he's like, they're going to be heavily discounted from what they normally are.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought Warren Sharp had a great point. So you're building a $1.5 billion stadium where the public is paying for $800,000, and you're not going to put a roof on it.
Yeah.
For these kind of, because what you do is leading up to the game, you have the roof on, so that way your field and everything is impeccable. And then if you want to play in the elements, you can then open it up at kickoff time and then start playing in the elements. And if it gets too out of control, you close it back up again. But if you're in that area, that would make sense to build one with a roof. So that way you have the luxury of protecting everything while the storm is going on. And you have the option of playing in the elements if you want to play in the elements, as long as they don't put people at risk.
So I do think they should have a dome. I think honestly, more for my purposes for when I've got to travel to Buffalo cover.
But it should be retractable. But it should be retractable. So if you want to use the elements as an advantage, then use them. But dude, don't allow the stadium to get like 10 feet of snow inside, and then you've got to shovel all that crap out, dude.
I guess the point I wanted to make, the only issue with that is a situation like this one, when you actually have a storm. It's not the stadium being a dome or not that's going to allow you to play.
Right.
Even if they had a dome, this game still would have been moved. And so the dome or no dome has no effect in the game being played. It's just going to make it easier for you to upkeep for the stadium. So that's the only point I would make in that respect.
Great point. Great point.
Like the dome doesn't save you from having to travel on the roads to get there. You can't put a dome over the roads.
Right.
So
yeah. Right. Yeah. And let me tell you, I've been saying this. I would not be surprised if the Bills, the way they're playing, they should beat both of these teams.
Yeah.
But if they lose to either Cleveland or Detroit, I'm not going to be shocked, actually.
Yeah, the Bills are going through a really interesting period, and a lot of people are panicking. I don't think there's a ton to worry about, but the thing that is troublesome is they've had a lot of injuries on the defense side of the ball, which is nothing new. The Dolphins have them, a lot of teams have them. But because of that, you've seen Josh Allen change the way he's played and feel like he has to be Superman. And that's his blessing and his curse. He can be Superman at times, which makes him one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But it's also sort of Jekyll and Hyde. He leads the league in interceptions because he's forcing a lot of these passes because he feels like he has to win shootouts every game. The Vikings game 33-30. You feel like you got to win a shootout and you're throwing bad interceptions. And so that's the one thing that they do have to clean up. I do think they'll get healthier. And I think they'll be one of the teams that makes the playoffs, whether it's regardless, whether it's division or wild card, and they'll be in the mix at the end of it. But I do think they've had some troublesome issues that have been caused by their defensive injuries and really their lack of ability to run the football. They don't run the football well with their running backs, and so that puts pressure on Josh Allen to do everything. And so, I definitely think this is a losable game because you look at this Cleveland team, they just got smacked. I mean, smacked by Miami. And so they're embarrassed. They came through with their tails whacked, between their legs to an extent, but they're also I think they're maybe 3-6. They're technically not fully out of it. And they also are getting Deshaun Watson back in 2 weeks. And so there's kind of talk in the building. He just returned to practice this week. Hey, if we can just win these 2 games, it keeps us in the hunt and we've got a shot. And so I think you'll get maybe the best version of the Browns this week as they try to, keep that season alive.
So what do the Titans and the NFL do about Todd downing a few?
That was wild to see this morning. I mean, I don't know the full story. I don't know where he was drinking. The question immediately is going to be like, was he drinking on the team plane and then drove back home? Or was this a situation where he went out after? We don't know that information. Obviously, that changes, what's done based on what the situation is.
Some tells me nobody's going to say he was drinking on the team plane. Right. I'm just saying. Some tells me that even if he was, there's going to be an agreement on behalf of the head coach and the play and the assistant saying, don't you say that you were drinking there, okay? You were stupid enough to get, busted. Don't throw the team under the bus, that kind of stuff. So
I guess the reality is like it is in the rule books that they're not supposed to supply with alcohol, but the reality is it happens. Like you've even seen in videos, guys on the flight back home after a win, they'll have a celebration beer and that sort of stuff. It's just kind of, you ideally think there's some sort of thought of moderation there, and so. The NFL just put out a statement that they're, Titans just actually put out a statement that they're investigating the situation. I'm curious, is this something they deal with internally, or do they just wait for the NFL? Because, he is their OC and their main play caller. And so do they sit him down for a week or two? Obviously that affects your ability to call plays, or is this something like a player, like if a player got arrested for DUI, this would be something where he would probably get a suspension next year, or deal with something in the offseason after it gets sort of adjudicated. And so that's sort of the deal there. I mean, obviously good that everybody was safe throughout the situation. But yeah, it kind of puts a damper on the Titans to win, because I thought the Titans put a big stamp on the game last night in a way where a lot of people don't have a lot of respect for the Titans because they win ugly. Their quarterback is, as you know, is kind of there's nothing super exciting.
He's a Jag.
Although he played really well last night. He played really well last night. But this is a Derrick Henry run team, a defense run team. And so not a lot of people get hoopla. And then they just smacked the Packers last night. Played probably their best game of the year all around. And
Packers are bad too, by the way. Let's also
they are bad.
Call it. They're bad.
They are bad. They are bad. But also like this news puts a damper, because all that everybody's going to talk about this morning is not the Titans beating the Packers, it's their OC getting arrested.
I don't know who gives a shit less, Aaron Rodgers or Kyle Lowry. I'm not exactly sure which one. It's something that I'm still trying to decipher here. You want to take a guess? Who gives a shit less, Kyle Lowry for the Heat?
Aaron Rodgers does. I'm about to say I think Aaron Rodgers does care to an extent, but I think that he cares in his own way. I think that, you heard him last night, and, everybody kind of saying, hey, where do you go from this? And he kind of makes the I'm going home reference, and people are going to play that up. But clearly he's kind of resigned to some of the issues. You can see it in his body language. We talked in body language a lot about Tua. Aaron Rodgers has some of the most expressive body languages. A receiver doesn't block something right, he runs the wrong route, you could see it all over his face. And so I always wonder what that does to young players. They just cut Amari Rodgers, who was their 3rd round pick last year, and he was not playing well. But I wonder how much Aaron Rodgers just chewing him out, telling him, you screwed this up, you screwed that up, how much that impacts young players. And so that would be my issue with Rodgers is, although he's a great, sometimes I think he doesn't help young players with how much he is his emotions, are worn on his sleeve.
I don't think he's a great leader, bro. I think he's just a great player, a great talent. And so you can't live without him. So you play him. But I don't see him as a great leader. I don't see guys that are constantly gushing about him, talking about him, and I just don't see that. It's different, man. When you walk into that Dolphin locker room and you see the way Tyreek is, the way Teron Armstead is. These are veteran players who are pure leaders on your team. You know what I'm saying? And Aaron Rodgers, man, I know he's a great player, but like many great players in the history of sports, they just tolerate you because, you're like Barry Bonds.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Barry Bonds was a great teammate, but he was one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Right.
So you want him in the lineup every single time because he's a beast. You know what I mean? But
and there's some players, we always assume leadership is naturally given to certain position, and it looks different. I'm not going to say Aaron Rodgers is not a leader, but I think his leadership style is clearly different. I think there are times that even Tom Brady, with how emotional he is, guys will be like, dang, that's too harsh on these dudes. But they have such a mindset that maybe they forget the younger player may not react to that the same way as, Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb, you might be able to chew out because you've known him for 10 years and that's the way it is. But, Christian Watson and Amari Rodgers and some of these young guys, they may not relate that way. And so the reality is,
but I hear a guy like Brady, if we're going to compare the older guys like Brady and Rodgers, but I hear Brady socializes with his guys. I hear Brady even if they're younger or whatever, he'll invite them for beers or
Right.
like he'll do things that he does connect with his teammates, joke
Right.
around with them, all that kind of stuff. Aaron looks kind of aloof from all that. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah. It's tough because Brady. One of the unique things that Brady does, and this is not to give love fest about Brady. Plenty of people do that, but like he's 45, right? And every time I go to the Bucks, they talk about how he's found a unique way to connect. He went to a UFC fight with Mike Evans last year, and they sat ringside and be able to discuss that. He'll discuss rap music with some of the guys on the team. He'll talk about fashion and certain things like that. And so he's not trying to pretend to be something he's not, but he assimilates to what the general consensus of the locker room. He's not a complete outsider, which I think is tough as you get older. Like Aaron Rodgers is almost 40. His topics are not the same thing as his 25-year-old teammate topics. And so I don't know. I'm not there every day, but I could see how he could maybe be viewed as, hey, Aaron does Aaron things outside of maybe his small group of guys that he's always known and trusted.
All right. By the way, you can follow Cam on Twitter at Cameron Wolf, and of course, catch his work there at the NFL Network. Were you surprised no kicker was brought in at all this week?
I was surprised in the sense that I would have brought in the kicker. We talked about this. I would have had kickers in here. You had the practice squad idea. I thought that was a great idea. Bringing a guy onto the practice squad, it doesn't hurt kicking off, but they clearly trust Jason Sanders to give him another shot. And so I'd imagine that the leash, for lack of a better word, is a lot shorter. If he goes out there this following week and misses a kick and an extra point, then I think maybe the conversation is different. But I think that hope, McDaniels is positive guy. So maybe he's giving this positive energy on saying, hey, my coaches supported me, my coaches believe in me, and hoping that mentally that helps Jason get back to wherever he is out of this funk that he currently is in, because we've seen him be a good kicker. He was a Pro Bowl kicker. But this year, he has not been good. There's just no sugarcoating around it. He has not been good. And as we know, kickers, a lot of it can be mental. And so maybe the hope is positive reinforcement support helps him mentally get back on track.
Can we get positive about a Byron Jones return?
Not as of now. Like, I haven't heard any changes at all. Like, it's interesting because I'm covering the Bills game this week. They have a similar situation with Tre'Davious White. He's coming back from a torn ACL, which he tore in Thanksgiving of last year. And they expected him to be back early in the season. He still has not played a game yet. And he's already been ruled out for this week, for week 11. And so he hasn't played all year, just like Byron Jones. And Sean McDermott has some of the same language that Mike McDaniel's having, as far as like, he's just not ready yet. We just got to get over the hump. We just got to do, and so like, clearly this is not just a Byron Jones thing, but I do think it's something that's clearly debilitating this defensive back group. So I think they have to prep the rest of the season as if Byron Jones is not going to be there.
I think he's going to come back.
I'm not saying he won't. But I think they have to prep as if they don't get him. And if they do get him back, it's a pleasant surprise and you plug him in. But I think as of now, it's week 11 and he hasn't played. He hasn't even practiced, So I think coming back off of being off for 8 months, you got to practice at least 2 weeks, 2 full weeks before you're out there in the game. And if he's not out there week 12, then you're looking at 13, 14, you're looking at maybe 16, 17. You're not going to put him out there in the playoffs for the first time. So you're looking at maybe like 2 or 3 weeks window where he's got to get out there on the practice field, or you're probably not going to see him this year.
Crazy stuff. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Cam, safe in your travels, my friend. Enjoy 8 miles and say hi to Mr. Mathers for us.
I'll try my best. I hope I see him.
You got it.
All right.
Thank you, my brother. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right, Frankie Fresco, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, Big O, what do you think of the XFL? It does not matter what you think. Do you smell what the rock is cooking. I'm glad that it started. They got a nice presentation. I saw a lot of the stuff. I know a lot of the people involved in the XFL. A lot of the personnel people is what I'm saying. I know a lot of them. So if I wanted to become an XFL insider, I could easily become an XFL insider. That's all I can tell you. I have so many friends that are part of the XFL because the NFL does a lot of firing. So yeah, listen. I always want these kind of leagues to succeed. Will it? I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. We'll see how they market it. We'll see what they do. We'll see if Rock and his partner, which is she his ex-wife? Okay. She's also a weightlifter, huh? She does something, dude. You don't have arms like her if you don't do something. Like she does, like she's a thick woman as it is. I get that. But like she works out. There's something, I don't know what the hell, but she does some kind of workout because, yeah, because she's like, she's a thick woman, but she's solid. You know what I'm saying? Like thick, solid. So she must like, okay, see, she's a former bodybuilder. Okay, that makes sense. That tells me that she's still doing, because you look at her arms and stuff, you could tell she's still doing. Oh, okay. All right. Well, she's, I mean, you can tell by the body she's built up. Yeah. I'm personally, she might be able to kick my ass. I'm just saying. If you also want to make a donation through Cash App or Venmo, I have not checked it today. Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. That is Cash Big O Show. If you want to get in there, as always, appreciate it. Thank you all. Even you, Steve M, with the hate. Tua's not playing, so Steve M doesn't have to send in anything today to slam Tua. We love you, Steve M. Even if you look out for anything and everything to bury Tua. What a trip! That is the one trip we have on the on it's Venmo where he chimes in. It's Steve M. Big O, isn't it funny how some fans will not be happy being wrong about Tua, even if it means the Dolphins win a Super Bowl? I mean, for me, I'm just super happy. Sure, it's fun to be right and all that stuff. But guess what? I'm gonna be wrong a whole bunch of other times too. Okay. But how many times do we get a franchise quarterback? That's what I'm happy about. And that's maybe the part that I got to keep fighting people that want to tell me that you don't have a franchise quarterback. And that's why Joe and I have had so many differences on this, because he was easily walked off the ledge. I posted a video yesterday, an old interview from the earlier this year, it was like in January or whatever, and they had just hired Mike McDaniel. And you just watch that interview and you'll see. And it's because he had already quit on Tua. And then that's where I could not take it from anybody, because I didn't believe that what I watched the first 2 years was Tua. I mean, it's just the way it is. If it's not an injury, I'm not concerned about Tua at all. I'm not concerned about his arm, about his play, about his height, about his intelligence, about his toughness. Nothing. There was nothing that I was ever concerned about. You wanted to stay away from him in the draft because of injury. I can understand that. The one thing I remember people saying, you trade up from 5. That I would not do. You know what I mean? And that's only injuries, the only thing that could scare me away from Tua. And if he finally is figuring it out here in the last couple of weeks, which is awesome, that you're actually sliding and you're, throwing the ball away, I love it. Because if you do that, then I know Tua is going to have an incredibly long career. 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. When sports and business collide, we like doing something, and we're here right now, and it's the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. All right. Got some interesting news with the NFL. They are doing something that I think is absolutely genius. And for you Dolphin fans, I think you're going to like this too, because maybe in the past we would have watched it and we would have said something like, whatever, reminds me of some bad stuff. I don't care about it. But how about this? Are you guys ready to revving up your engines? Listen to our howl and roar. Metal under tension, begging you to touch and go. Highway to the danger zone, right? Well, guess what? The NFL is turning to a hit action movie. It struck a deal with Top Gun Maverick producer Skydance Media to create documentaries as well as fictional movies and shows. The league hopes to develop broadly accessible content and complement to HBO's Hard Knocks, which follows one NFL team per season. The NFL now will make a substantial investment with Skydance Sports. Skydance was valued at more than $4 billion on a $400 million funding round last month. Redbird Capital Partners, KKR, and Tencent Holdings participate in the round. While the league itself is expected to be the core source of the content for the venture, NFL Chief Media and Business Officer Brian Roloff indicated that the team up will explore other sports as well. Skydance Sports, which launched in September 21, signed a deal in October with Mbappe and his production company, Zebra Valley, to produce a scripted and unscripted content. The division also recently inked Ben Affleck to a direct film for Amazon Prime about Sonny Vaccaro, a key operator in Michael Jordan's launch of Air Jordan sneaker line. So this is super cool because instead of making it just one team, now they're going to make all kinds of films for different teams. So we're going to be able to get to see the 20, they're not doing it now, but the 22 NFL Dolphin season. So by the off season, we get to see something produced about the entire season. That would be freaking cool. That would be awesome. That's the kind of shit that I want to see. And really smart on their part. Look, you've got the NFL Network. You've got your own channel. You can only play the replays so much in a week or in a day. You can only run certain programming so much. You got to add other things. I think the Yes Network, I bet they saw a little bit of what the Yes Network does. And listen, I'm not a Yankee fan, but obviously I respect what they've done and what they've built and the foresight and everything with the Yes Network on top of all of that. But if you watch the Yes Network, it's got a lot of documentaries and shows that are profiles and all that kind of stuff about Yankee teams and Yankee players and all that kind of stuff. And Yankee fans must love watching that stuff on Yes Network, right? If you're a Yankee fan, how do you not love that, right? And this is the same thing. If you're an NFL fan, now you may catch your favorite team in a profile about Tyreek Hill, a profile on Tua, a profile on the Miami Dolphins, profile of Mike McDaniel, and you're going to watch it. And it's a 15, 30-minute, biography, documentary, whatever it is. It's genius idea by the NFL, and it just helps you grow your brand even more. Love it. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Okay, we are back. Time to wrap it up here on the program. I want to thank Alan Kinko, of course. I got to thank Cameron Wolf, Scott Pianowski, Joe Shad, Manny Navarro, Ira Winderman. We had a loaded show. We thank all of you. We'll be back tomorrow at 1:30 to get you ready for the Canes and Clemson. We're off on Sunday, thank the Lord. And then we're back on Monday. By the way, we will be off on Thursday, too. We're going to eat some turkey. We're going to relax. We're going to watch some football. We're going to hope that the Bills lose. All those kind of things we're going to hope for, okay? And maybe I'll get a wish. I got Johnny Wishbone. I'm Johnny Wishbone. And maybe I could get a Johnny Wishbone and break the Johnny Wishbone in Turkey Day. Where's that from? I'm Johnny Wishbone. I don't remember. Trading Places, Eddie Murphy, when he acts like the African guy, and his name is Johnny Wishbone. Is that in, or did he call himself Johnny Wishbone in Beverly Hills Cop, and he was saying kibbles and bits and all that stuff? Now I'm confused. See, now I'm confused. Now I think it might have been. The Jets will lose to the Patriots. I'm not worried. Perfect cue. I don't believe in the Jets. Nice defense. I don't believe in that kid. I don't believe in their quarterback. Okay. I'm the absolute guy for Zach Wilson. It was Beverly Hills Cop 2. Okay, so I was wrong. Thank you. Beverly Hills Cop 2. I'm Johnny Wishbone. All right. I am out of here. What does it say? Big O, do you agree with MLS signing up with Apple TV for $14.99 a month or $99 for the whole season? I'm not a big fan because I still think the MLS needs more to grow. Well, but Frankie, they have to make their money. They got $9.5 billion, I believe, or $9 billion or whatever for 10 years, or $8.5 billion. $8.5 billion, I think it was, for 10 years. They need the money, man. They got to have it. So, and this, I like it on Apple. I don't know if I'm going to pay for the MLS ticket. All depends on what Miami does. We'll see. All right, we are out of here. Sean Stanley, sir, thank you. Thanks to Al. Thanks to Alan. Thanks to all the great people out here at KSDT CPAs for being an amazing sponsor and supporting our platform and helping us grow every single day. Thanks to all of you as our subscribers continue to grow every day. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit that like button before you're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow at 1:30 as we get you ready for the Canes and Clemson, and then we're back on Monday. Much love out there. Have a great one. Stay safe. Be good.